lights the way. Utah on the board first. Their first ever goal by number 11. Kesselring carries it across. Kesselring carries it across. McDavid. Bouchard, he gets it back. The pass over.
Alberta.ca.
Kelsey gets
website.
Bouchard, he gets it back. The pass over. The Oilers up by 2. Then Force. The Oilers up by 2.
YouTube channel.
For McDavid, there is guys. David, there is Johnny Settle. Watched carefully by Lindell. Response to McDavid. Moves to the outside. Works it.
This is the Jason Gregor Show.
Kesselring carries it across. Drops one. Shoots. Lights the way. Utah on the board first. Their first ever goal by number 11.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Bouchard, he gets it back. It's a power play marker in his third of the playoffs. The Oilers up by 2.
Force 1440.
And the Oilers Nation YouTube channel.
For McDavid, there is Jack Center. Watched carefully by Lindell. Across to McDavid. Moves to the outside. Works it.
Well, it is game day. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. And guess what? So our partnership with Play Alberta, you get a free play. Use the promo code Gregor50. And every month, you can renew it every month. Get a new one. So for the month of October, Gregor 50, and you'll get a $50 free play at playalberta.ca. I'm Jason Gregor. Connor Halley back at Sports 1440 Studios, the eWell Studio. We are live today at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street. And there is lots going on. Of course, the season opener for the Edmonton Oilers, the 34th time in 45 years that the Oilers will open the season on home ice. They are 21-9-3 in their first 33 season openers on home ice, and they will look to make that 22 tonight. And guess what? You could be going. If you get down to OTR between 4, as long as you're here by 7 o'clock, which gives you lots of time. But here between 4 and 7, they got drink specials and everything else. And then even if you don't win, you stay for the game. Free wings during the game tonight for the Oilers and the Winnipeg Jets. So Jasper Ave and 118th, come on down. Could win tickets. Also, you could win the brand new the radio at sports1440.ca, as well as Oilers Nation YouTube, Facebook, and X, where we are live all the time if you like to have a video component of the show. Oilers lineup we'll get to. Also, some interesting news in the Rafael Lavoie saga. We'll fill you in on that momentarily. But the Oilers tonight, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman. Jeff Skinner will be with Draisaitl and Arvidsson. Janmark, Henrique, Connor Brown, Podkolzin, Ryan, and Corey Perry on the right side. On defense, Ekholm and Bouchard, along with Nurse, Emberson. Kulak will play with Dermott. So Travis Dermott gets the game 1 start. He'll play his offside as a left shot, playing the right side in place of Troy Stetcher. And Stu Skinner will make his first start in the season debut. Of course, remember the Oilers last year? Well, you probably want to forget it, but last year they went into Vancouver and they got spanked 8-1. Not that ties for the worst loss, because they lost one year 9-2 in Calgary. So -7 in both games. Not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but Skinner will start tonight. Now, Calvin Pickard will play this weekend because the Oilers play Saturday and Sunday. No word if Pickard's going to play against Chicago or Calgary. We'll see. I'm sure they'll talk to Skinner and see what he wants. Now, you could play tonight, then 2 days off, play Saturday, 2 days off, and play Tuesday. Or plays today, then he gets 3 days off, plays Sunday, and then a day off to Tuesday. So it comes down to feel and what they want and, quality of competition, everything like that. So although Chicago, Calgary, neither team right now is destined, I would think, to be a playoff team this year. So we'll see. As always, you can get involved. You can text us 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our inbox. We got lots of texts coming in already. And here's the update for Rafael Lavoie. So the Edmonton Oilers, Rafael Lavoie was put on waivers by Vegas. Then he gets put back on waivers. Now, Edmonton doesn't get first right of refusal. It's like normal waivers. There is one caveat, though. If no other team puts in a claim, then the Oilers could send Rafael Lavoie directly to the minors. And so the Oilers, because they won the claim, the team that claimed him or any other team who puts in a claim would have had to finish higher in the standings last year than the Edmonton Oilers. And a quick recap for those who don't remember, Florida was ahead of them. The Rangers, Dallas, Winnipeg, Vancouver, Boston, and Colorado. Those are the teams last year who finished with more points than the Edmonton Oilers. So not a lot, but guess what? One of the Rangers, Dallas, Hurricanes, Jets, Panthers, Canucks, Bruins, or Avalanche, one of them also put in a claim for Rafael Lavoie. And so now the Oilers have to keep him on the roster. And if they want to send him to the minors, then he has to go on waivers again tomorrow. So we will now they don't get told. My understanding is you don't get told which team puts in a claim, but the GM, it's not a rocket science. Figure it out. You call the Rangers, Stars, Hurricanes, Jets, Panthers, Canucks, Bruins, Avs, and maybe there's a trade to be made. We'll see. But right now, Rafael Lavoie is on the Oilers roster, and he will stay there unless they're going to put him on waivers again. So it's been quite the few days for Rafael Lavoie. He's like, hey, I guess it's good to be wanted. Vegas wanted him. Edmonton wants him. And there's another team who claimed him. So there you go. That's the latest on Rafael Lavoie. The Winnipeg Jets come to town. Not a lot of changes in that Jets lineup from last season. The major changes come on the back end. On the coaching staff. Right now, they do have some changes on the back end. Brendan Dillon's gone. Nate Schmidt was bought out, so he's not there. But they'll have Morrissey and DeMello, Sandberg and Pionk, and then two new guys in Fleury and Miller will be in the third pair tonight. Hellebuck had some personal issues, but he's here. He was on the charter yesterday, and he's going to start tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Mark Scheifele will center Kyle Connor and Gabe Velarde, Nemestikov with Ehlers and Perfetti, Lowry with Appleton and Niederreiter, and Kupari with Iafallo and Barron. Some other little news and notes heading into tonight's game, if you want to go to playalberta.ca. Leon Draisaitl has a franchise record and currently is tied for the NHL's longest active point streak in opening night games of the season. He has had a point in his last 8 opening night games. He's tied with Philip Forsberg and Morgan Rielly. Who would have thought that Morgan Rielly would have a point in 8 consecutive season openers? But he does. So there you have it. Kyle Connor is currently tied for the NHL record all time, as he has a goal in 6 consecutive season opening games. He tied Cam Atkinson, who did it from 2014 October until 2019, and also Yvon Cournoyer from 73 to 78, and Mud Brunto from 1940 to 1945. Thick name, Mud. That is awesome, right? Hey, what's your name, son? Mud. Like right away, you're just like, I'm not screwing with that guy. I'm just going to get, now I got to look up. I don't, obviously Mud, I could ask Lowtide. You might have seen him in his prime, but Prunto was playing in the 40s. So I didn't have a chance to see him, but got to think he's a character. When you're named Mud, you're like, was he dirty? I don't know. Was he chippy? I'm not sure. We will see. Hey guys, we need Lavoie as an asset at trade deadline. Yeah, possibly. We'll see. But if he's not going to play, it's hard to make him an asset, right? But you know what? This might just force the Oilers to put him in the lineup. We shall see. So either way, now what this does is, the Oilers wanted to go with 12 fours because they were looking to accrue cap space, yada, yada, yada. So there you go. But right now, they have 13 forwards healthy. They have 7 defensemen and 2 netminders. Evander Kane has been placed on LTIR. Now, the Oilers, even with Lavoie, they're still under the actual cap, so that they're, they're still accruing space as of right now. So we will see how it goes. Hey, Greggs, why would the league grant Lavoie back to Edmonton? Shouldn't there be a rule in place that you can't get him back? No. I'm sure from a player's perspective, you're like, come on. Right now, did a team put in a claim just to be a jerk? Right? Could they have done it just so Edmonton has to accrue less cap space for one day? Because honestly, I thought about it. I said, why wouldn't you do it? If you know Edmonton's going to claim him, which, everybody knew they would, you're one of those other teams, we'll just put in a claim for, it's one less day of cap. I know it's a super small amount, but it's a subtle way just to irritate Edmonton maybe. Although, you know what? Because I think they want to send him to the minors. Obviously, they put him there originally, but now he will at least start the season on the Oilers roster, at least for a game. So I don't know if he flew to Vegas yet or not. I haven't dug into that or not, but man, it would be quite the time. He's getting there. He's flying to Vegas. Oh, by the way, no, we're not keeping you. We have a loaded show for you today. Mike Rupp is back, baby. He will join us today, coming up in about 5 minutes time. Andrew Walker, pre and post game host here on Sports 1440. He will be live right at the conclusion of our show from 6 until 8 p.m. tonight. Extended pregame show, and then they'll get into the post-game show and have loads of fun with that. Dave McCarthy will be by at 3:20. We'll hear from Yaremchuk, Gene Principe. We got Spec. We'll hear from Connor Brown, a few other members of the Edmonton Oilers as they get set for their 45th season opening game tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. So it's it'll be fascinating. Looking forward to see. The Oilers have talked about it today. They don't want a slow start. And here's why, because it's not going to, if you lose tonight, or even if you have a sluggish start and you're 5-5, it's not, the Oilers showed last year, it doesn't put you out of contention. It just means you got to go on a pretty good run. But what it does do is it lowers your chances of having home ice advantage later in the playoffs. And make no mistake, home ice advantage matters. The Oilers haven't had it in the second round or later since 1990. Back in 1990, they had home ice advantage in the first round, second round, and the third round. Last time they had home ice advantage in the Cup final was 1988. Now, in the salary cap era, 19 years, the team with home ice advantage in the Stanley Cup is 13-6. And those are good teams. Right? Like, you get to the Stanley Cup final, you're a pretty good team. So I think the regular season, when it doesn't matter, I disagree with that statement. You can't win the Cup in the regular season 100%. I will agree with that. But you can improve your chances. Because think about it. If the Oilers end up finishing first in the West, that is, and they go to the Western Conference Final, that's 3 less flights they have to take. They don't have to fly for game 1 and 2 on the road. They're at home. They don't have to fly for games 1 and 2 of the next round. It's just better. Right? Like, look at the flight to Florida, stayed at home. So they flew to Edmonton for games 3 and 4, which Edmonton did. Then they flew back. Everything was even. Now, that might sound like just a small little amount, but the margin for victory in the playoffs can be pretty small. So any slight advantage you can get, you want it. Edmonton, why don't you want to play in front of them? Like, it's a gong show in a good way in the playoffs. It's loud, consistently loud. The players loved it. I still talk to Adam Henrique about it. His wife had never experienced it. She was blown away. A big reason why he re-signed in Edmonton was the playoff experience for his wife. She was like, oh my God, this is so fun. And I'm not even playing, is what he was explaining to me. Like, she really just, it's hard not to get caught up in it. Everybody's excited. And hey, the team's good. You know, they're lucky. They've been in a situation where he's made over $55 million. He's set. He can take, quote, a little less, which is still $3 million a year. So let's, he's not, struggling for his next meal. They're pretty blessed. So then you can pick and choose where you want to go. And anybody who's married, if your spouse is happy where you're going, it just makes it easier. So there you have it. 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, if you got claimed while they were sending him to the minors, why wouldn't the league just let him pass there? Well, because it's a normal waiver claim. Edmonton gets him, but the reason why they don't let him go directly to the minors is because another team was willing to put him on their NHL roster, and the Players Association argues for this. So teams can't just hide guys in the minors. Hey, we want to have all the depth we have, right? And the guy's like, man, I could probably play in another team and get NHL money. So I get why they do it. It makes perfect sense. Quick break. We'll come back. Mike Rupp will return here on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, coming to you live and on the rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. Stop in, be here tonight before 7 o'clock, and you can go to the game. They're giving away free tickets, great seats for the home opener, which will include banner raising, player introductions, and more for the first game of the season.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical. Testing Team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby. Vancouver's number one.
Even when it comes to meat snacks from Wilhawks.
I love the Herrenschwiener. The ham sausage rules.
But they will agree
Wilhawk beef jerky is the best.
it might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Pick up some Wilhawk beef jerky today, because you don't win friends with salad.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
It's an action-packed weekend of Oil Kings hockey at Rogers Place, starting Saturday afternoon against the Red Deer Rebels.
Then it's a Thanksgiving Monday matchup with the Vancouver Giants.
Bring boxes of mac and cheese to use as noisemakers, then donate to Edmonton's Food Bank after the game.
And at every home game, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is king-sized.
Edmonton, Red Deer, Saturday at 2 p.m.
Oil Kings, Giants. Special holiday Monday noon puck drop.
Great family entertainment at Rogers Place starts at just $20 a seat. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Carve out for a cause at the 6th annual Jason Gregor Pizza Takeout presented by Swift. Thursday, October 24th at the Canadian Ice House. Indulge in unlimited pizza while raising some dough for kids' board. Vote for your favorite slice to crown the People's Choice Awards winners. Don't miss Edmonton's biggest pizza party with Gregor Broadcasting Live. Tickets are $60 or $200 for a group of 4. Adults only. Buy your tickets today. For more details, see jasongregorpizzapigout.com.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota. Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with a tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Kid Sports' 6th annual Jason Gregor Pizza Pigout. Come try the best pizza Edmonton and area has to offer Thursday, October 24th at 6 p.m. Get your tickets at jasongregorpizzapigout.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. 220 on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. And during the commercial break, I was looking at the 8 teams who finished ahead of the Oilers in the standings last year. And when you consider Colorado's injuries, I wouldn't have been surprised if the Avs were one of the teams who put in a claim on Lavoie. So Colorado, Boston. Vancouver currently has 23 players on their roster because they're carrying 8 defensemen. So if they were to claim Lavoie, they would have to put someone else on, so I don't think they could do it. Florida, Winnipeg, Carolina, Dallas, New York are the other ones. And there's a few that had room if they wanted to. We can do it, but I think Colorado is the one that probably makes the most sense. As Lekkonen's hurt, Landeskog still questionable, Nichushkin's not ready. So, not saying that he's going to fit into that role by any stretch of the imagination, but they need some wingers, and I could see Colorado being one of the teams to claim him. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Hockey Super League. It's an opportunity to continue on development for young players for cross-province and inter-province competition. You can find out more at hockeysuperleague.com, as we are joined now. We welcome back to the show. He was a regular last year and is happy to join us again this season. Former NHLer, Stanley Cup winner, and of course, he is on the NHL Network, and he's going to be a part of the Thursday nights on Amazon, where it's going to be Hockey Overload, as Mike Rupp joins us now. Rupper, how you doing, my man?
What's up, Greg? How are you, man? Glad to be back this year.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you back, man. It's exciting. It's it's a great time. Hockey's back, and there's lots of excitement. I look at it. I know it's only 2 games, Rupper, but I want to get your thoughts on the Buffalo Sabres. Couldn't score last year. That was a concern. And it's their first 2 games. They're in Europe. Their teams being together, whatever. And they score 2 goals. I know it's only 2 games, but when you watch those games, were you concerned? Like, they didn't create a lot offensively.
No, they didn't create a lot. And again, I think that's what you're saying. It's like you don't want to panic after 2 games, but I think what I saw in those 2 games kind of seems like the same thing we saw last year, the same problems that they kind of have had. And, you could talk about improving that back end. Their D-core, their top 4 is pretty darn good. You talk about some of their big talented players that they have. I watched a team that their opponent was a team that got pushed around the last couple seasons, didn't hold on to pucks. They were not hard to play against. They looked like they were hard to play against. And Buffalo, who had the bigger players, Buffalo, who, sometimes is not going to go your way. Do you have, what's between the ears? Well, what else? What have you learned through this? I didn't see any pushback. I didn't see anything where it was like, hey, we might have to win a different way. Like we're not feeling it in these first couple games in Czechia, but I didn't see it. So to me, yeah, I am concerned because I thought there should certainly have been a mind shift for that Sabres team, especially the guys who've been there for a while.
Mike Rupp joins us. So, Rupper, you've had a chance to look over all the teams. You see all the offseason moves and such. Everybody's high in New Jersey, and rightfully so. I think they're a good team. I don't know if I'm ready to anoint them that they're going to go deep in the playoffs yet. I have to see it to believe it as far as deep in the playoffs. But the Atlantic Division, Boston, Florida, Tampa, Toronto, those guys have been in the playoffs all the time. Detroit and Ottawa and Buffalo, they can't get in. 13, 8, and 7 years. And Montreal got in when they played in the Canadian division. So it's not been a great run for them. Do you see any of those top 4 in the Atlantic falling out and one of the other teams moving ahead of them?
I don't. I know we've been talking about this for a number of years. And it's kind of, is it Buffalo? Is it Detroit? Is it Ottawa? Ottawa's the big one that I've kind of picked the last couple of years. And, these teams, we've seen some progress, but I don't think we've really seen those other teams drop back. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could look at Tampa's roster and say, I don't love that. I think Steven Stamkos being gone now is going to really hurt that team. But I don't think they're going to come back that far. Like they just have that pedigree, right? And I think that's where it's at. Those 4 franchises, the Toronto, Tampa, Florida, and Boston, like they've got that winning pedigree. Like there's an expectation of winning on a nightly basis, and they find ways to do it. And you can argue, yeah, well, maybe not all the time with a few of those teams, but they do it way more consistently. So I don't know. I just don't see those other teams kind of being able to bridge that gap. So for me, the only way one of those other teams gets in is they go 5 in the Atlantic, which is doable because I think this Metro division is kind of wide open. So, I mean, could this be a year where you have 5 out of the Atlantic? I'd say, yeah, it can happen. But you're going to have a lot of Metro teams that are going to be in the hunt there for that wild card spot too. So it's going to be intriguing. I think it's going to be one that's going to go down to the wire. It's probably going to have about 4 or 5 teams for that last spot.
Yeah, I think it's, I'm intrigued by Ottawa, obviously selfishly because my nephew plays there, but Buffalo, Detroit, Detroit and Lalonde. I've been reading, they think that, he might be on a short lease here if Detroit gets off to a slow start. Rupper, what do you think of that?
I mean, he should be, shouldn't he be? This is a team that, they made ground last year and they were exciting down the stretch, but it was because they kind of shot themselves in the foot prior to that. They should have been in the playoffs last year and should have taken advantage of maybe some of the other teams that have trailed off a little bit. So, and I don't mean that as an indictment on him. I mean, this is the pivotal year for Detroit for me. If Detroit does not get in, you got to shake up the house a little bit. It might be the core. I said the same thing with Ottawa this past year. I was kind of surprised that they didn't kind of chip at that a little bit more. Certainly getting Linus Ullmark kind of maybe changes the way you think at. Let's see if we can run this back with a lot of this core. But, I mean, it's not working. It's gotten better in Detroit, but I think this is the year where Steve Yzerman is going to be – he's going to need to see results. And I think if this team does not get in, I probably think there's going to be significant changes. And at times, the coach is usually that first one.
Mike Rupp joins us, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm Jason Gregor. Coming to you live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street. Rupper, we saw, offense big time last year. Kucherov, McKinnon, McDavid, all over 130 points. Do you see similar offensive numbers this year? Like McDavid, you know what? He's already got 130 points twice in his career. Could be one of the few guys to ever do it 3 times in a row. He would have done it in the 21 season. He had 100 points in only 56 games. But you see like McKinnon and Kucherov and those other guys staying above the 130 mark? And do you think anyone else can join it?
Man, I don't know if anyone else can join. I don't know if we're going to have as many guys that are up as high as we saw last year. Kucherov's it's going to take a little bit. I'm not trying to say Steven Stamkos was the key to Kucherov drives offense, but he's got to change some things. That power play might take a little bit to kind of get going with some different looks now. So we'll see. I don't think Kucherov's going to put up the same numbers. McKinnon, he certainly is capable of that, but I don't think that team is very deep. I think you're going to run them into the ground. You're going to have to, I think, for that team to make the playoffs. Then I look to a guy like Artemi Panarin. I think that was a career year and probably still will be when it's all said and done for him. So I think I think it's going to be Connor. I think Connor's going to be one of those years for Connor to have a little separation from, in like years we've seen in the past with him, where he's, I think, going to run away with the Art Ross. Again, you're going to have some great seasons, a lot of 100-point guys, but I just don't think we're going to see many guys up in the 130 range.
You look at a team like Vancouver, and obviously there's the question marks because of Demko, Rupper, and where he's going to be. And then they're bringing Lankin in. They got Sheloffs. How much do you think they're going to miss Demko?
Oh, I think that's everything. I mean, I don't consider that team to be a threat at all if they don't have Thatcher Demko. And I mean, they've got a lot of great things going from where I would say, even to this standpoint, all the good things they had from Quinn Hughes, phenomenal year, JT Miller, incredible. I mean, you can go up and down in the depth pieces. They had a lot of career years last year on that team. And it's like, you're not going to get all those again. They're still going to be very good. Those are very good players. And you're going to get some pushback, and this team's going to grow together. But I don't know. I feel like Thatcher Demko would be that life preserver on nights where it's not going good. And that's not to me. Shelovs was great. He was great, what we've seen of him. But let's be honest, he's not what we regard as Thatcher Demko to be. So, I mean, if Thatcher Demko is good to go, he's healthy, can get back to being healthy and play, this team's going to be dangerous. If he's not there, I have huge concerns for Vancouver.
Robert, what do you make of the orders? What Skinner is in, Arvidsson's in. Obviously on the back end, Emberson, and now it's Dermott tonight with Stetcher, but Cece's out, Broberg's out, Desharnais out, Holloway, Fogle, McLeod. They've got better top six wingers for sure. Some concerns maybe right now to start the season on their blue line. Do you think it's that big of a concern, or is it just one that Captain Obvious says, they'll address it before the trade deadline?
I mean, it's a little bit of that, right? Like, this is a team that I think will tweak along the way and see what they've got. They've had to make some changes with some of those personnel leaving, but they also addressed a lot of things, right? Like, this has been a team that we've talked about wanting to always put a new infusion of talent in the top six. They do that with Arvidsson and Skinner and see how that plays out and where those guys find their success. But I also think what they established last year in the playoffs and their offseason signings with that third line really allowed them that gave them a staple, that gave them some real solid footing to have a line like that. And you hope that line could play like they did in the playoffs all season long. But I think all of a sudden now you look at this Oilers team, and I don't think you can look at them and just say, wow, this is a top-heavy lineup. Of course, it's always going to be top-heavy. You got two of the best players in the world. You can always look at that lineup and think, oh, that's really good up top. Yeah, but they've got a little bit of a bottom six now, and there's some competition. I guess one concern, if I would have it, they did lose a little bit of speed. Is that going to be a factor? We'll kind of see it in that, and I think they're going to probably tweak this D along the season and come trade deadline time. So I think they kind of offset each other. Yeah, lots of changes. Maybe lost a little bit of foot speed in some positions, but they also picked up some things that they were lacking, and I think it'll all even out.
Rupper, do you have a team that you're watching either to make a big move or one that you think, I think they might be sliding out?
I kind of alluded to it before. I'm a little nervous for Colorado. I think that Central Division is the best division in hockey. And when you look from top to bottom of that division, everybody, in my opinion, got better. I mean, I think Utah is going to be good. I think you can go all the way to the bottom. But the Chicago Blackhawks are not going to be a pushover this year. I mean, they're not going to be a playoff team. I don't think they're going to be sniffing around the playoffs, but they're not a give me 2 points. You know what I mean? And I started looking, and around that division, the only team I think got worse is Colorado. And I think it's going to be, I mean, they're an injury away from having some real problems. And you could say, and people do say it, you could say that about every team. Well, no, not so much. We've seen teams sustain when you have some important players out. I don't know if they're built that way. So I'm concerned with them. And then I also said it on the flip side, a team I'm excited to see. I just think that Utah, I think they got like $8 million in cap space. They've got a really talented team, I think, that's going to be in the mix here. And they got a lot of prospects. So if they can show getting through to probably the 50-game mark, like, hey, to Bill Armstrong, like, this is our year. Like, we need a little bit of help here. He's got the assets to go out and make a big move trade deadline time. So that'd be a team I'm looking forward to seeing.
Dude, if Colorado, if one of McKinnon or Rantanen, their second line wingers right now today are Nikolai Kovalenko and Calum Ritchie. And then there's Miles Wood and Logan O'Connor are their third line wingers. Ivan, best name in hockey, by the way. I'm pumped that this guy's in. I remember being in his draft. I loved it. Ivan. Oh, so awesome. And Joel Kiviranta, like I can see why. I think Colorado was the other team who put in a claim on Rafael Lavoie, to be honest here. For that, Edmonton got him back, but they can't send him to the minors because someone else put a claim. When I look at all their wingers, Kovalenko, Wood, Ivan, Kiviranta, O'Connor, Ritchie, 100%.
Yeah, it's that you're going to see them rely on Rantanen and McKinnon, McCarr like we've never seen, and that's it. It's going to be tricky. I just wouldn't be shocked. And in the last 5 years, I mean, that's been a team you're like cup contender. All of a sudden, I look at the roster. I got to kind of rub my eyes and look again. That's not a good roster there. And I don't know if they're deep enough to be able to be considered a cup contender or even a playoff team this year.
Rupper, good to have you back, my man. Looking forward to it. Will you be making? Are we going to see you tomorrow night on the Thursday debut?
Nope. I think tomorrow night is PK and Jason Demers and Andy Petrillo, I believe. My first one is on the 24th, so you guys will see me up there in Canada on the 24th. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be
it's like the red zone of hockey on Thursday nights. Should be a lot of fun, Rupper. So awesome, buddy. We'll chat with you next week. Have a good one. Enjoy the games.
Awesome, Greg. You enjoy.
There you go. That's Mike Rupp from the NHL Network. Of course, you'll be seeing him on the NHL's edition of for any of you who big NFL fans, like the Red Zone. It's basically going to be a highlight package on Thursday that just keeps going to all the games, all the goals, everything like that. I think it's pretty smart, actually. I know NFL fans love it. Our short attention span. They're like, I don't want to watch one game. I can watch all the games in one place. So there you have it. 833-401-1440. You can text us in our email inbox. When we return, he did have a warm-up on Friday. Sounded great, but the regular season begins tonight. Our new pre- and post-game host here on Sports 1440, Andrew Walker, will join us next.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
At Fountain Tire, we love jingles. Get up to 25% off select tires.
Until October 19th.
Plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150.
Restrictions apply.
Book online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
New Jizz Nuggets.
This is New Jizz Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of heating and cooling advice does Nuge have today?
You can save a lot of money by bundling your new furnace and AC with Legacy. It's kind of like saving money on an endorsement by bundling me, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, with someone like, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Thanks for suggesting me, Nuge. Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC and furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of
New Jizz Nuggets.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
You'll see us digging holes. No, we're not looking for buried treasure. You'll see us digging trenches as well. And no, we're not building a fort. We're GS Construction, and you'll see us in neighborhoods throughout the Edmonton area. So what are we doing? GS Construction provides rehabilitation and upgrade services to Edmonton and surrounding communities. Some of our underground utilities have served us for years and are past their useful lives. We replace them, so they're around for years to come. Find out more at gsconstruction.ca.
Diablo Boots in Canada West. Two great names in working cowboy boots. For over 60 years, Diablo has been selling the best-made Canadian boots. Diablo has boots from sizes 6E to size 15 EE, just for you. Why buy boots made in China like Ariat, Justin, or Red Wing, when Diablo has the best quality for less, made in Canada? Diablo has working cowboy boots with replaceable soles and heels for longer life. So, save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard, on the east side of Save On Foods. Boots. Hurry in today for best selection.
At Fountain Tire, we love jingles. Get up to 25% off select tires.
Until October 19th.
Plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150.
Restrictions apply.
Book online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. eWell.ca is your power play partner with a new website that puts the power in your hands 24/7, ordering and shipping within Edmonton and across Alberta. Score an account today at ewell.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back to 43 Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook and X. Thanks for listening and watching. Maybe you got the app wherever you're at. You can listen in there. iHeart, Radio Player app. It's great. Sure to have it tuned in. We are coming to you live today from On the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street, where they got great deals on. Get here before 7 o'clock tonight, because you get your name in the draw. You can win a pair of seats, great seats to tonight's season opener Oilers and the Jets. We got some other giveaways, some swag of Sports 1440. And then if you don't win, just stick for the game. Free wings during the game here at OTR, and specials, $4.50 pints, $4 pints, and more. So pretty good deal at OTR. Speaking of good deals, friend of the show, Eric Zabrowski made his post-season debut for Cleveland. Pitched 1 1/3 innings, 2 Ks, gave up nothing. So good for him, man. What a thrill that would be. Oh, you're in the playoffs? Are you kidding me? This guy was he had back-to-back Tommy John surgeries. Thought he might never play, and here he is in the MLB playoffs. Unbelievable story. I love it. Love it. Speaking of stories, hey, we've created a pretty good story here at Sports 1440. Kind of just starting from scratch over 13 months ago, and now we always said from day one we were going to add, and we've added now a pre and post game show, which starts regular season tonight at 6 p.m. and then of course right after the game is over, as we get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton.com. Stop in the XC90s. The 2025 XC90s and the hybrid XC90s are in, but they are going fast. Get yours now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. The host of the pre and post game show, Andrew Walker, joins us now. Walks, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing awesome. What an honor to be on with you and be part of the station in a small respect. It's awesome, man. I'm a fan. I drive around. I listen, and I'm not sure I've been to On the Rocks before it was dark out, so you'll have to tell me how it is. But no, it's great. It's great to join you.
You know, and it does look very different here during the day. It's true. I think a lot of people should come to OTR once and be like, oh, this is what it looks like. Right.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Yeah. It is a different feel. It's a little bit calmer right now, so it's nice.
Yeah, I was
right?
going to say, I'll meet you there in 12 hours.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I haven't done any shots yet today, so that's a good sign. A good sign. The Oilers, Noeblock, he switched up the lines one day at practice, but, he went back to Skinner and Draisaitl and Arvidsson, which makes perfect sense. What's your expectations for that line?
It's so tricky. I love the Arvidsson signing. I have since, these are kind of two polar opposite signings for me, because, they needed something a little bit, more known in the top six. I think we could all agree with that. I love the Arvidsson signing. We all know about the injury history, but he's always been a guy I liked. The scoring paired with the tenacity. And I'm not just saying this because they signed him, but the Oilers own the LA Kings. They have for the last few years. Arvidsson terrified me. Like every time he lined up against the Oilers, that was to me like the scariest guy. So I'm glad they got him. And I'll be honest, I don't quite get the Skinner thing yet. And I was saying this, Donovan and I did the pregame, postgame for the final preseason game there against Vancouver. And this isn't trying to have a hot take, or it's not, putting the cart before the horse. I need to be shown a little bit on Jeff Skinner. I know he scored at this level. I know they got him for, pretty reasonable price for a guy that consistently gets 30 goals. I just don't quite get it yet. And I'm willing to take my time, as we all have to see. But yeah, there's a guy that I don't quite see it yet. We didn't see it in the preseason. Not that you need to judge a player, but I'm kind of still waiting to see on the Skinner thing.
Yeah, he's been such a proven 5-on-5 guy. I think I think he'll do his stuff. I'd be surprised, but I'm kind of curious to see that third line and if they can carry over how they played in the playoffs to the regular season. It's different, but Adam Henrique's been a very consistent goal scorer every year, 20 goals 8 different times in his career. Janmark's a very smart player, rarely turns the puck over. Not going to give you a ton of offense, but Connor Brown to me is maybe that wild card. He scored 20 goals twice. I'm not saying he's going to score 20 now, but could he be a 13 or 14 guy? Because if he is a 13 or 14 goal guy, then he basically replaces Warren Fogle.
Yeah, exactly. And we ran the gamut. We saw both sides of Connor Brown, right? This is a guy that had to pay double for every drink in Edmonton, and after the playoff run, he was a fan favorite. Doesn't have to buy another drink in town, right? That's how it is. So when I look at smarter guys than me have told me that it's interesting when you watch playoff series or teams that go on runs, and if you believe that the stars are stars and they kind of cancel each other out, which team has the best third line? That's the team that wins the series. That's the team that wins the Stanley Cup. And the Oilers had a terrific third line in the postseason last year. And you look at additions and subtractions, right? Arvidsson and Skinner and all that. Well, Henrique was a deadline guy. I don't think anybody expected to have him back. And he is back. And Connor Brown I don't know, you talked about this on your show. He was basically a trade deadline acquisition because he was literally not the same player that we saw in the first 50 games. And everyone's, cheering when he finally scores his first goal of the season. Not expecting 20 goals out of Connor Brown, but I'd be stunned if it was like the same narrative that we saw for the first 3 or 4 months of last year.
Well, he even admitted he had no pop early on. And when you watched him in the final 2 weeks of the regular season and the playoffs, it was pretty noticeable how much of a difference health makes for players, right? Like Connor Brown, he didn't look effective at all for I can't remember. What did he go, 51 games? I don't even know the exact number of how many games he went without a goal, but it was obviously not good. And it wasn't like he just wasn't scoring. He really wasn't getting many chances. So they needed him. Where's your concern level on the right side of the defense for the Oilers?
Put me in the category that it's a wait and see. Anybody. This is not a Stanley Cup winning defense, even though, Pittsburgh won a couple with some ragtag groups of blue liners. Not that, the Oilers 1-6 to ragtag, but also I don't know, you just know it's like looking at a World Series contender and not liking their bullpen in the spring. Like, you'll fix it. You're able to fix it, right? Everybody thinks that the Oilers are going to evaluate. You got 82 games. I don't think a playoff spot is at risk. You're trying things out. You're looking to see who can play. And then if you need something, they have the assets. They will have the cap space to go out and get something. So I just don't think it's a finished product. I thought that the CC move was not curious. I mean, obviously it comes with cap space. I'm still waiting and seeing on Emberson. What does Nurse give him this year? You don't have to worry about Ekholm and Bouchard, obviously, but it's not perfect, but I'd be 100% surprised if this is the defense around the trade deadline, right? So yeah. I'm just very wait and see. I'm not overly concerned about anything. I know it's fun to talk about and have gripes, and we're going to do a lot of that on the pre and especially the post game show. But I'm just my message to fans, and this is not, you tell me if this is too cheery. You don't get many years that's cup or bust, and you have to enjoy the ride. Like, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and these 82 games, they're not meaningless. but they started 2-9-1 last year and still made Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. Like, this team is going to be in the playoffs, and that's when the conversations can get serious. You have to enjoy when your team is on top of the world.
Andrew Walker joins us. He is our new pre- and post-game host here on Sports 1440. Before and after every Oilers game starting tonight, the pregame show will get going at 6 o'clock, and then him and Donovan Paulson will be there right after the puck drop to get all your thoughts and comments on it. You got any special segments that fans and listeners can get used to hearing?
We got the sales staff did a great job. They sold, I think, the underwear I'm wearing. We have a special sold segment for that. But I do know the one thing that we tested out. River Cree has a over under sponsor, so we'll kind of give a random stat or a random something to watch for in the game, and people can make their predictions pregame, and you can win gift cards and prize packs to the River Cree. So that's one thing. Otherwise we'll wait and see. This is an evolving organism. We're just trying to have a lot of fun with it and involve all the listeners on the text line and phone calls and all kinds of stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we start adding stuff as the season goes on, but we got Landon Ferraro joining us on a lot of games. Our game day analyst, former Oilers captain Ethan Morrow is going to do some appearances with us. Kind of got some new blood in town, and more than anything, it's just it's another outlet to talk hockey and right along with when you guys launched the station. I mean, this is a market that just needs that outlet, especially now, right? We're not talking about Magnus PRV Svensson. We're talking about the best player in the world and one of the best teams in the world. Like, we got to talk about it.
You mentioned Landon Ferraro. Does he have as short a fuse as his dad?
No. And by the way, and you know this, Ray and I actually got to know Landon when I was covering the Red Deer Rebels. This would have been, I guess we're looking 15, 20 years ago. And Landon was a real high Bantam draft pick and started his hockey career in Red Deer. And that's where I got to know Ray, because he would come into town and watch Landon play, obviously, on the weekends. And Ray and I got to be really good friends. He's, become a mentor and pretty special guy to me. And then Landon's grown up to be, not a spitting image. He's a little lower key than Ray for sure. But even Ray, I don't know if you've talked to him in the last 2-3 years. He has had a bit of a Zen moment. He is a different guy. He is definitely. I've seen him yell at strangers before. He is not that guy anymore. And Landon's probably a little bit more happy-go-lucky than his dad was at his age. But it's amazing because he is the chip off the old block, and Ray has turned into. For my money, he's the best. He's like Chris Collinsworth in the NFL. He's hands down the best color analyst that we have in the game. And Landon is a chip off the old block, but Landon's 33, I believe. He just retired from playing over in Europe. And when Ray was 33, he still had a number of years left in his NHL career. So, look at how Ray has advanced in the broadcast world. And for my money, what a great ad for us, because Landon is ahead of the game, so to speak.
Well, Andrew, we look forward to it, man, and having Ethan Morrow on, and of course Ferraro. It should be great with you and Donovan, and the inaugural regular season one gets going tonight, right at the conclusion of our show. So 6 o'clock, all our listeners will be tuning in. Thanks, man. Good luck. We'll talk to you throughout the year.
Hey, you bet. I can't wait till we do a couple little crossover shows together. Those early East Coast games. I'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you betcha, for sure. That's Andrew Walker, pre- and post-game host here on Sports 1440. So that's coming up 6 o'clock, him and Donovan. So Donovan's pretty fired up for that as well. It's 2:56, and we got a lot of texts coming in. People are trying to figure out what happened to Rafael Lavoie. So here's a quick summary. So, of course, the Oilers put Rafael Lavoie on waivers on Monday. Then waivers come out on Tuesday. Boom, he got claimed. Or no, maybe they put him on Sunday. Anyway, he got claimed on waivers by Vegas. Now, Vegas claimed two different players. So then the next day, because you can't do it right away, then Vegas puts him on waivers because they didn't want both him and Cole Schmidt. And then you got to wait 24 hours. And today at noon, the waiver period ends, and the Oilers put in a claim. They got him back. However, if they were the only team who claimed him, they could have reassigned him to the American League. But they weren't. One team who finished higher than them in the standings last year, and there's only 8 of them because the Oilers were 9th. The Rangers, the Stars, the Hurricanes, the Jets, Panthers, Canucks, Bruins, and Colorado Avalanche. And so I went through all their rosters here looking, and when you look at Colorado's wingers, right now, they have 3 wingers who are set to play their first NHL games on opening night. Nikolai Kovalenko comes over from the KHL. Callum Ritchie, who's a 19-year-old who could still play in junior. And Ivan. Because Lekkonen's out. Nichushkin's out until at least the middle of November. Obviously, Landeskog has still been unable to play. They got guys banged up. They just don't have a lot of bodies. And I could see why that would be the team that said, we got to put in a claim here. Here's a guy, big winger. Why not? It does, you know what, in 3 or 4 weeks, if guys come back or it doesn't work out, fine. But like Richie, now he doesn't have to go back to junior. He might not, but you know, he's a young guy. It's very hard for most teenagers to have success in the NHL. It just is. Right? You don't see a lot of teenagers in the NHL having success. So they don't have a lot of depth. Here's their 6 wingers after their top line. Kovalenko and Ritchie, Miles Wood, Logan O'Connor, Ivan, and Kiviranta, excuse me. So that's it's not a ton of success. Not a ton of proven bodies. So that's why I think they might have been the team. So the Oilers now have Lavoie, but he's on their NHL roster. If they want to send him to the minors, they got to put him back on waivers. So we'll see what they do. It's put a little bit of a wrench in their plans right now. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home with the no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at legacyheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. The Edmonton Oilers kicking off the 2024-25 season, hosting the Winnipeg Jets down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock. Stuart Skinner, Connor Halley getting the start between the pipes. We got pregame coverage. Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson getting going at 6 o'clock right here following the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere around the NHL tonight should be a great one as the Habs host the Leafs. Got the Rangers in Pittsburgh. Canucks taking on the Flames, and the Avalanche travel to Sin City to battle the Golden Knights. Crazy few days for Rafael Lavoie. He was claimed by the Oilers today. He, of course, was waived by the team on Monday, then claimed by Vegas, then waived by Vegas. The Seattle Kraken have signed goaltender Joey DeCourt to a 5-year, $25 million contract. He appeared in 50 games last season for Seattle, posting a record of 19, 18, and 11. And Linus Ullmark sticking around in Ottawa. He signed a 4-year contract extension with an AAV of $8.25 million, keeping him in the nation's capital through the 2028-29 season. He, of course, was acquired by the Sens from Boston back in June. Major League Baseball today, right now, Tigers on top of the Guardians in the bottom of the 6th. Edmonton's Eric Zbarsky did appear in this game. He went 1 1/3 innings, striking out 2, allowing no runs. That series tied at 1 game apiece right now. Coming up in about 10 minutes' time, the Mets host the Phillies. Mets can wrap this one up with a win at 5:08. The Yankees in KC taking on the Royals. That series tied at 1 each. And tonight at 7 o'clock, the Padres and Dodgers meet in San Diego. Dodgers lead that series 2-1. NBA preseason tonight, you got the Wizards, Knicks, Thunder, Rockets, Magic, and San Antonio, and the Kings hosting the Golden State Warriors. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Dave McCarthy of SiriusXM NHL. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores will be closed on Friday to lower prices and then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals in every department. Get 30% off furniture and free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, get 40% off mattresses and buy any TV or appliance to get a $50 credit for furniture, home decor, and mattresses. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there. Now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies like the Orangesicle, the Marathon, and the Original, made with oranges, bananas, strawberry sorbet, and probiotic yogurt. Happy 25th Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
When you want to recognize the top performer on your team, come create memorable and customized trophies and awards with Elite Promotional Marketing. Elite's in-house design team will help you achieve your corporate award goals. Head to elitepromomarketing.com.
Ain't it beautiful? The inventory is unprecedented. Volvo Cars Edmonton is proud to boast an amazing selection of in-stock Volvo XC40s, 60s, and 90s. Visit Volvo Cars Edmonton today and experience the exemplary service you've come to expect and the affordable luxury only found with Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, what a classic tune, baby. Like, there's certain songs in the world when you hear them that you automatically, the movie it's connected to or a certain time in your life. And Eye of the Tiger is one of the all-time classics. Oh, man, with Rocky, you're just thinking of all the training scenes. Oof. Declan jumped down, he's doing 10 push-ups here. He's getting all fired up. I think he's going to go to try to run some stairs here in the River Valley soon. Maybe we should send him out there to do that, Collins. I think the stairs in River Valley are no joke. I wonder how many sets of stairs Deck could do without stopping there. So, have you ever ran those stairs down by the Glenora, Cons?
I haven't gone to the Glenora. I did just off Fox Drive once.
Now, how many did you get?
Oh, geez. I was like dead after one set. I mean, those ones, I don't know if it's true or not. It might have been my friends just kind of like making me not feel so bad. They say those ones are a little bit longer. So the steps are a little further, not the longest legs, but yeah, I think we got through like 2 or 3 and had to call it a day. Those are tough.
Yeah, I don't know if this that is a nice thing. I'm not like if the steps are longer. What are we talking, like an inch?
Hey, every inch counts.
Well, that's hey, that's what she said. But yeah, no, I've done both. I never noticed a significant difference in the stair length difference. Granted, though, like after 3 or 4, like it's just in your head. You just got to survive because. We went and did it, and I think the most I ever did it, well, not the most. I probably could have done one more, but we did like 6, and I'm like, I'm good. Right? That was, and that was many years ago. It's probably in a little bit better cardio shape than I am right now. But it was like stairs. You think you're in good shape till you go run stairs. Like it's like anything. You gotta do something repeatedly. Like you could be in really good shape. You're working out. You're strong and everything. But I'm like, okay, what's your cardio like? Like, have you done, because running stairs, oh my God, is it gas you? It is no joke. So, yeah, we'll have to, maybe we'll see. Deck, how many sets of stairs can you run? As many as I want, he says. Oh,
he's a boxer, though, right? So he's elite cardio.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, hey, but We'll see. But when you're boxing, you're just on level ground, not running stairs a lot. So running stairs, even if you're in great shape, now it becomes a little bit of a mind game. So can you continually keep moving, but at a snail's pace? Probably. So, but we'll see. I wonder, any of our listeners out there, how many sets of stairs can you do consistently at either Fox or Glenora? Let us know. But could we have a challenge for Deck? See if he can match him.
So Chris says Fox stairs are awesome, but Wolf Willow are by far the hardest. So maybe there is a little bit of a variance between them.
Huh. Well, isn't there more at Wolf Willow though? Isn't that what it is?
Well, that could be it.
Yeah, I just think they're like, you add an extra 8 or 10 steps and just think about it, right? Obviously it's going to be harder. So there you go. Hey, Greggs, didn't at one time you say you wanted to run that CN Tower Stairs Marathon from Rockford? God, no. I've never even heard of that. There is such a thing? The CN Tower Stairs Marathon? What? Now that'd be cool. Like, was that just up and down once? Or are you doing it multiple times? Oof. I went to the CN Tower for the first time this last year. Quite enjoyed it, but I took the elevator up. I'm not going to lie. I didn't take the stairs. I didn't even know the stairs were an option. Not that I would have taken it, even if it was. And I am a stair guy. Like I'll take the stairs as much as I can. I don't skip out. I'm not an anti-stair guy. Excuse me. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. We got a lot of text flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our inbox. Remind you, we are on the Rocks. It's game day. Oilers opening up their season against the Winnipeg Jets. Jets got a pretty deep lineup. The Jets had a really good regular season, but you kind of forget it because they flamed out so bad in the playoffs. They got lit up. They allowed 28 goals in that 5-game series loss to Colorado. 28. That's 5.6 goals against per game. Are you kidding me? It's tough. So Connor Hellebuyck, his last 2 playoffs, both have been 5-game series losses. And both time he's significantly sub 900 save percentage. So, the Jets, does he play fewer games this year? We'll see. Because against Colorado, though, he would have had to be lights out because Colorado, literally, it looked at times like the Jets were just turnstiles. And Colorado was just, vroom, vroom, like they were flying by them. Remember that series? I'm sure some of you watch it. You're just like, what the hell is going on here? The Jets are just, now the first game was pretty exciting. It was end-to-end. I think they lost 6-5. It was a hell of a game. But when your bread and butter is defense, because the Jets were tied with Florida for the best goals against in the NHL last year. And then it just went out the window in 5 games. 5 games. God, that would be, like, if you're a Jets fan, that would be rather frustrating, I would think. No doubt about it. 833-401-1440. Hey, Greggs, you take the stairs at Rogers Place tonight? Chris, Chris, I actually did. You know what? During intermission, I always walk down the stairs because I like it. It's good to go down and up. Plus, sometimes, depending, you got to wait for the elevator. I take the stairs because it's right there. The stairs are literally right there. It takes you right to the top. Now, the only issue is at the top of the stairs to get into the media room, there's no scanner. So you got to pound on the door. And sometimes if the security person isn't there, well, now you're SOL. And then you got to hoof it all the way back down to take the elevator up. So now, to be honest, I've actually called Carius from there. He answers, he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Come open the door." So, because I'm in the stairwell. So, especially the one if you go to the far end, which comes out around like section, I think it's like 117, give or take. So that one's never open. There's no one working there. So I learned that the hard way. But I love the stairs, buddy. Take it all day long if I can. Why not? It's good. Hey, guys, would you trade Lavoie to Colorado for a mid-round pick or a younger prospect from Nick? Now, Nick, again, that's just me making an educated guess that it's Colorado. I looked at Boston. I looked at Carolina. I looked at Vancouver, the Rangers. Could one of them have claimed him? Yeah. But Colorado's the one who, like, when you have 3 players with 0 NHL, not that Rafael Lavoie has a lot, but he's a bigger body, right? Like, those guys are 5, 10, 19 years of age. It's not an ideal situation for them. I could see them looking and saying, hey, Rafael Lavoie, what's the one thing Rafael Lavoie can do at the NHL level? He can shoot the puck like an NHL player. There's no doubt in my mind. Rafael Lavoie, you would put his one-timer probably in the top 20% of one-timers in the NHL, because there's not a lot of guys who can do it very well. He can do it, no problem. Now, he's in an organization. We can say, well, why hasn't he made it? It's a good question. Does he have the foot speed? He's not overly physical. Rafael Lavoie's problem was he's not a penalty killer, so he couldn't start in the bottom 6. Like, look at Sean Horkoff, Oiler fans. Remember that? Where'd Sean Horkoff start? 4th line. Killed penalties, worked his way up, eventually became an offensive guy. Todd Marchand. Now, Todd Marchand remember he's a 60-point player one year. Now, I know it's a little bit of an outlier, but still, Todd Marchand became a really high-end third-line center. Didn't start that way. But he got in the games and he got ice time because he could kill penalties. Lavoie doesn't do that. So he's got to be a guy who can come in and contribute. And when offense was never really a need for the Oilers, like, I know people, the Oilers need another scorer. I'm like, what are you talking about? The Oilers needed to be better defensively. And that's still, if I go into this season, there's no question. I think everybody in Oilerland would agree they can score goals. Oilers probably going to have to win some games 5-4, 4-3, no problem. But are they going to be set now? They showed it last year. They can buckle down defensively, but they also got a lot smaller and younger on the blue line. Desharnais's gone. Cece's gone. And for all those who are like, Cece sucks, I outlined all the numbers. Cece's played the 7th most games of the NHL defenseman. He's 79th in points over that time. He's averaging, he's one of, I think, I can't remember, over 7 years, something like 37 guys who average 20 minutes a night. He played minutes. He was pretty good. Right? Did he make the odd mistake? Yes, but I think it became way too overblown how bad Cody Cece was. Oh, and the other thing, Game 7, guy shows up. I don't care that it's been Game 57 or 8 or 9, he's laying an egg. All I know is in Game 7, when the most important time of the year is on, Cece was pretty good. So I think it's valid to question the Oilers' blue line heading into the season. Hey, guys, I'll tell you this. Stairs paid off when we went to the Jays in San Francisco and also went to Alcatraz. Oof. Oh, yeah, San Francisco is one of the best cities to walk. But it's very hilly if you've ever been there. You gotta be ready to walk, baby. It's loads of fun. I love it. Let's get to a quick break. When we come back, Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM will join us. Hey, Greg, did someone claim Rafael Lavoie? Yeah, the Oilers. But another team put a claim in, so the Oilers can't send him directly to the minors. And one of those teams had to finish in the top 8 because the Oilers were 9th in the NHL last year. And my sneaking suspicion is it's the Colorado Avalanche. So what do the Oilers do? I don't think they're down on Rafael Lavoie. They wanted to accrue some cap space. They're still under the cap, by the way, even with Lavoie, because Brown's not here now, and Dermott replaces him. So Lavoie comes in, and the Oilers have, I think it's like, because Yaremchuk right now actually counts against their cap for like $107,000. It's a weird calculation, but he counts against it because he's injured. Now, once he goes down, that'll free up some space again too. But even with Lavoie, I think they've got like just under $300,000. So they're still not in LTIR, even though I know Kane's on LTIR, but they haven't reached the cap yet. So they're still able to accrue cap space when you're below it. It's just they were hoping to accrue more because Lavoie comes back on at $775,000. Let's take a quick break. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Carve out for a cause at the 6th annual Jason Gregor Pizza Pigout presented by Swift. Thursday, October 24th at the Canadian Ice House. Indulge in unlimited pizza while raising some dough for Kids Sport. Vote for your favorite slice to crown the People's Choice Awards winners. Don't miss Edmonton's biggest pizza party with Gregor Broadcasting Live. Tickets are $60 or $200 for a group of 4. Adults only. Buy your tickets today. For more details, see jasongregorpizzapickout.com.
When interest rates are low, that's a good time to buy a vehicle. And 0% means it's a great time to buy. Right now, St. Albert Dodge can set you up with 0% financing on hundreds of vehicles. Virtually all new 2024 models. Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0%. Dodge Durango and Hornet. 0%. Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500 trucks, all as low as 0%. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients. Better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Gateway Toyota treats us like we're precious gems.
Because that's what we are.
Every vehicle purchased from Gateway Toyota includes enrollment into their GEM program. It stands for Gateway Exclusive Membership.
And it gives you 5-year access to over $2,500 in benefits.
Free oil changes.
Free tire and windshield repair.
Free car washes.
Even an annual detailing.
You'll also get special discounts, trade-in bonuses, and referral rewards.
I feel like a gem.
At Gateway Toyota, just off Calgary Trail at Ellerslie Road.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. This is a big deal for a big pizza. Get an extra large New York style 1-topping pizza for only $17.99. Order today at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:20. Welcome back. It is game day on Sports 1440. Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook and X. Thanks as always for joining us. We are live here at On the Rocks, Jasper Avenue, 118th, where you're going to want to come down here today. Be sure to get here before 7 o'clock. If you want to go to the game, just show up, put your name in the draw, boom. You can go. Now, if you by chance don't get to win, well, then just stay here, have a pint, $4 pints, and also free wings during the game tonight. Woo. Wing Wednesday, free wings at O2, and they're good wings, by the way, really good. I like it because they're not just soaked in sauce, or you like your hands. You need 8 of those wet naps. No. They've got some good wings with just enough kick, but not too wet, which is nice, real nice. McCarthy should be joining us momentarily. We'll get to talk all things NHL. The Oilers, of course, taking on the Winnipeg Jets tonight. Jets, how about this? The 12 forwards that are in their lineup tonight were the 12 forwards that started game 1 of last season for them. Now, they had a few guys go up and down, injuries and stuff. They added Toffoli at the deadline, and Monahan didn't work out. But they haven't really made many changes up front. On the back end, Brennan Dillon's gone. Nate Schmidt's been bought out. So they brought in 2 new defensemen. And that's really it. There's not much other changes. Now, they had a really good team last year in the regular season. Fleury and Miller, by the way. Colin Merrill, the veteran. Fleury comes in. The The human tower, Logan Stanley, is banged up. He's not going to play for the Winnipeg Jets. And really, their big changes came behind the bench as they promoted Scott Arniel after Rick Bowness retired. Arniel then went out and hired Davis Payne, former NHL head coach of the Blues, as well as Dean Chenauth, who was the assistant coach in Toronto the past 3 seasons. Prior to that, he was assistant coach in Carolina for 3 seasons. As AHL head coach, has a lot of coaching experience. So Arniel definitely filled his assistant coaching staff with some veteran guys. Will they play that much different? And the question is, do they have to? Because the Jets in the regular season and then the Jets in the postseason the last 2 years, very different. If they were in Toronto, people would be freaking out. But just go look at Hellebuck's regular season numbers, then go look at his last 10 games in the playoffs. Not great. Not great at all. It is great because we welcome in Dave McCarthy as we go around the NHL. McDonald's, stop in. Your favorite game is back. You can win cars, you can win furniture, you can win great food and prizes. Just get McDonald's and Monopoly. You can play it in store, or even easier, just play it right on your phone. As we welcome in from Sirius XM, the host of The Brunch, and fills in on many other shows. I think he'll be on in the afternoon on Friday. Dave McCarthy joins us. Davey, how you doing, my man?
I'm curious to know how you knew that I was going to be on in the afternoon on Friday when I haven't told anybody. You're right, by the way.
Yeah. No, well, it's because I was listening to Boomer and he said that he was in the hospital on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know he still goes to the hospital.
Yeah.
So yeah, and but yeah, Dave, I'm always on the ends.
Can't put anything past you, buddy. I'll tell you,
Dave. Only the big stories. When's McCarthy hosting? We need to know. Okay, we need to know. The NHL really kind of got going last night. Great debut in Utah.
Yeah.
So here's my fun question for you: how many other NBA players do you think can skate as well as Markkanen did last night?
You broke up on me just as you mentioned the name. Say it again.
I said, how many NBA players do you think can skate as well as the Utah Jazz's Markkanen did when he brought them out last night?
Oh man, I'd probably put that like below 2%. I was impressed, right? And clearly they looked
on skates, man.
A big dude, but clearly they look to make sure that this guy is not going to go full Bambi on everybody. So they did some pre-work there. I would be shocked if too many guys, let's put it this way, outside of Canada who are from Canada, because there's a number of guys in the NBA now who are from Canada, right? Anybody else, I wouldn't be too confident.
Yeah. No, it's just, I thought, it was a nice little way. It's a way to, kind of get your Jazz fans. And he's one of your biggest names in your sporting community, and you connect them to the hockey team. And then, of course, they could have asked for a better start. They get the win. The young guy that they just signed to a huge contract extension scores the first goal, adds an empty net. Their new captain scores a goal. Like it was pretty much a perfect night for Utah.
Yeah, it was. I was impressed with what I saw. I liked the buzz, the atmosphere in the building. They played pretty well. It was, I think, all in all, a successful evening, considering the fact that you want to get off to a good start, right? When you come to a new city, you want to. There's always interest initially in the marketplace. You want to make sure you harness that. The best way to do it is to get off to a good start, like they did obviously in Vegas, like they did, to an extent in Seattle. They weren't terrible the first year. They made the playoffs, but they weren't terrible. And then they made the playoffs the second year. And I remember talking to Jamie Alexiak after the first year. He said the crowd was so good, we desperately want to repay them in this second year. And they did. They made the playoffs. So they've done a really good job there. So now it's incumbent on Utah to make sure that when they come, they show up and they have success. And I think they're kind of in that arc now of their team. They've been building a lot of really quality prospects into that system over the last 2 or 3 or 4 years. And we're starting to see some of them now rise to the fore at the NHL level, like Dylan Guenther yesterday. Clayton Keller's been around for some time, but named the captain. They've got a number of young guys where it's kind of like, okay, you got to start to show me at the NHL level here. They went out, spent some money, brought in some legitimate bodies like Mikhail Sergachev in the offseason. I give them a chance to be in the mix for a playoff spot this year. I don't know if I'm going to bet that they'll get in, but I could see them playing some meaningful games down the stretch because, outside of a terrible 13-game stretch last year, where they lost 13 games in a row, when the news came out that a move was likely in the cards, Arizona was pretty good last year. Like into January, they were pretty good. So even if they had gone 6-7, 7-6, rather than losing 13 games in a row, just play 500, they would have been right there in the mix. I could see them doing it again this year, if not a little bit better, because they've gone out of their way to improve the team, bring in some real players, and you hope now for some internal improvement where guys that have been in the league for a year or two start to show what they're capable of, and we saw an example of it last night with Dylan Guenther.
Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us. Dave, we had Kevin Woodley on, and he ranked the goaltenders in each division, and he actually had Toronto as number one for their top 3 goalies in the division, and he based it on expect saves above expected and lots of stuff. But then he said, my caveat was health.
Yeah.
And can they get through a season? And so here we are, Dave, and it's game 1, and Wall's already hurt. And so I was looking at their last 5 seasons. So Freddie Anderson, Jack Campbell, Matt Murray, Ilya Samsonov, and then Anthony Stolarz. Those are their opening night starting netminders. Not a lot of consistency there with 5 different guys in 5 seasons. And, tell us, what are you hearing about the injury? How serious is this? And, that's the one knock on the youngster is the best ability is dependability. And now it's dependable.
Look, I think the world of Kevin Woodley. I love having him on my show. What I would say, though, is in certain circumstances, I would prioritize the ability to be available above all else when it comes to talent, technical aspect, and all of that. And the issue for Toronto, and you listed off the 5 goalies that they've had over the last 5 years. Jason, we've been having this conversation in Toronto for 5 years where you wake up in the morning and your first thought is, will whoever it is be feeling it tonight? Will he be able to play? And it's I would suggest getting relatively tiring because you can't operate when you have such uncertainty in your goaltending position. It's like the quarterback in football. Like if you can't be dependable, it's really, really difficult to win. And Joe Wall's got a tremendous amount of ability. He's a really effective goalie, but he's always hurt. The Leafs have played 2 games in 158 days. Game 7 of the first round, where in the morning, Joe Wall came up unable to play. And now tonight, game 1 of the season, where in the morning, Joe Wall has come up unable to play. And look, lower body stiffness, I'm not criticizing the guy. If he's hurt. But man, is that a case of I'm truly hurt or I'm not 100%? And if you can't play unless you're 100%, well, then that's going to be a case where you're going to be unavailable most of the time. Because I'll tell you, most of the time I don't feel 100%, 90%, but maybe not 100. And if that's going to be the bar, then he's not going to be available very often. So what I'm hearing is that he's not likely to be available through the end of the week, likely to miss 3 games. And here we go again with uncertainty in the goaltending position, where it was the case with Samsonov last year, the case with Murray the year before that. And once you garner that reputation, I don't know how you shed that. You've got to go months, Jason, without a question of, is he in, is he out, before you can kind of put that reputation behind you. So I just think it's going to be another lingering question all year long in terms of Joe Wall's availability. And it's really disappointing because I love the guy. I love talking to him. He's a lovely guy, really interesting guy to talk to. He's got so much ability. but he's unable to be available most of the time, it has seemed, throughout his NHL career.
Yeah, it's not ideal at all. Now he's young, and hopefully, we've seen some guys who get nicked up early in their career and then they figure it out. So sometimes you got to alter how you're training and mixing in different yoga and different things. So hopefully that happens because he's got the ability. The problem is he doesn't have the ability to stay healthy right now. The Florida Panthers last night, Dave, they have the banner raising ceremony. Then they come out and they pump Boston. Boston scores a few late goals to make it look better than it really was. But what's interesting is in that game, Swayman didn't play, which made sense because he really hadn't been there a lot. They have his new deal at 8.25. And then today, his former goaltending partner, Linus Ullmark, signs a 4-year deal for the exact $8.25 million. Now, Ullmark is 5 years older, so
Right.
Anybody wondering, well, why did one guy get 8 and one guy get 4? Well, Ullmark's 31. So you look at those two deals, which one do you like better?
Jeremy Swayman, for sure. Like I'm just still not convinced. We haven't seen Linus Ullmark be a great goalie when he wears a sweater that is not a Boston Bruins sweater. Like he wasn't very good in Buffalo. Like really, let's be honest here. And so I'm concerned that unless Ottawa shows a willingness to play with some semblance of structure like the Boston Bruins do, that it's going to be what they're hoping for in the nation's capital. Like I'm really concerned about that. And that's a lot of money for Linus Ullmark, at this point in his career. He's 31. Like I don't put him in the same level as I do a Connor Halley, who signed a similar deal, not for as long, but for similar money at the same age. I'm leery about this one. Like I would have given him another like 5 times 5 type thing, but 8.25 on a 4-year deal, that is a lot of money. And I just hope for Ottawa that they're not doing this deal again like they did with Korpisalo and like they did with Cam Talbot and like they did with Matt Murray when they paid him a lot of money, right? And they paid him 6.25 over 4 when they brought him in and think, okay, got our goalie signed up, we're good now. No, the issue in Ottawa has been that they don't have any desire to play deep, and that's going to be the telltale as to whether or not this Linus Ullmark contract will be effective. If they can incorporate some structure into this game, in their game, then yeah, I think Ullmark will be serviceable, but it's a little bit more money than I was expecting. And now you look at what Ottawa's done. They've committed to a lot of guys now at a lot of money. Better work. Is better work, or they might have to go through another reset without ever even getting a sniff of the playoffs. This is a big year for Ottawa. Placed a lot of bets. That number was higher than I anticipated. And speaking of goalies, how about the money that Seattle gave Joey Daccord? 5 times 5. That's almost $1 million a game for every game he's played in the league, man. Like, holy cow, that blew me away.
Yeah, well, if you actually look at Joey Daccord's numbers last year, they were really good.
Yeah.
Right? You're right. He's only played 70 NHL or 69 and nice NHL games. And I get the risk involved, but I remember talking to Woodley about him in the offseason because I was crunching numbers one day looking at something. I'm like, Joey Daccord had like maybe the best second half of the season that no one talked about from a goaltending perspective.
It was very good, yeah.
Yeah, not on a great team. So, I think it shows a little bit of like, they've got some cap space to move. They don't have anybody coming who's going to command a big salary. And I think this is their way to protect them because I think Joey Daccord has taken over the number 1 spot from Grubauer.
Yeah, probably, which means they've got a lot of money on the books right now with Grubauer. If he's going to be like, what is he making off the top of your head? Do you know? It's more than 5, I believe.
Oh yeah, Grubauer is like 6 or 5 or 6.
So I mean, yeah, they've got some cap space, but anytime you have that much money, wearing a baseball hat on the bench more often than not is not ideal. So, we'll see if they can move him, but. We'll see. That's a bet. Like you're right. His numbers in the second half of the year were good, but I would like to see him do that again, and maybe get that deal done in advance of the trade deadline. That's a heck of a commitment at pretty good money for a guy that's into his later 20s and has only played 69 more games than you and I have at this point in his career. A lot of term as well. We'll see. That's a bet, I'll tell you. I'm not sure if I love it. Maybe I will, but I wouldn't have been that eager at this point. I would have waited till the trade deadline to get that done, get a bit more sample size.
Yeah, that's fair. Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us. Lastly, Dave, when you look at the Atlantic Division, you covered very closely. It's basically been the same four teams for a long time. I know Montreal had their playoff run, but it didn't come when they were in the Atlantic Division.
No.
And Buffalo's 13 years out, Detroit's 8, Ottawa's 7. Do you see any switch in the top 4 in the Atlantic, or is the only hope for one of those other teams is that they can beat out the 4th place team in the Metro?
Yeah, Florida looks like a serious team again. It's one game. Let's not get carried away, but I don't think they're going anywhere. I think they're making the playoffs. I think Toronto's going to make the playoffs if they can get a stop. And Anthony Stolar showed himself last year to be a guy that is likely capable of taking on more. And I agree with Kevin with the depth. You got Matt Murray, you got Dennis Hildeby. These guys, Matt Murray appears healthy, and we've known what he can do when he is healthy. Dennis Hildeby's knocking at the door. So they should have some depth. Will they have a guy that will provide championship caliber net mining? We'll see. But the point is they'll get in. Tampa, I don't see them falling out. I really don't. I think you look at the spine of their team, and it's still in really good shape with Point and Kucherov and Hedman and Vasilevsky and Cirelli and Nick Paul and Hagel. There's a lot of good players there. I think they'll be good, and they understand what they have to do in order to win. Boston, once they get Swayman up and running, they should be fine. They didn't look great last night, whatever. It's one game, but you have to ask yourself, do you see a team like Ottawa or Buffalo or Detroit or Montreal being able to push any one of those teams out? I don't see it at this point. Ottawa, again, we're getting a lot of hype, but they've got to show me that they've matured in their game, and have a desire to play with some structure. We've heard about this year in, year out, and we haven't seen it. And then by American Thanksgiving, they're out of it. So I need to see it. And I'm not convinced that their roster is better than it was on paper last year at this time. So that'll be Travis Green's number one task. I don't see it from Detroit. Buffalo concerned me with what I saw out of them in Czechia. I was kind of high on them coming into the year, but man, they concern me now. Again, it's 2 games. Let's not get carried away. But I don't see any one of those 4 teams that finished on the outside looking in last year being able to challenge any of the 4 teams that made it. Do you feel differently?
Well, I think they're getting closer, right? Ottawa signed Allmark. I think that's going to help them. I think Nick Jensen should, in theory, help them improve defensively as a team. And I have to believe, and I could be wrong, but I think Travis Green. You talk to Brady Tkachuk and those players. Everybody knows why Ottawa's not moving on. It's not a lack of offense. It's they give up too many goals. They give up too many chances. So
exactly.
Are their players going to commit to be better defensively? If you eventually, you have to think they will because they get sick of losing and they get a little bit older. And a lot of their younger players are now 5-6 year veterans. They're old enough to know better. So that's kind of they have a lot of talent, or enough talent, I should say, that they should be in the mix. I don't expect Ottawa to be 14 or 16 points out of the playoffs again.
No, they shouldn't be. They should be in the mix, but I think it'll be a battle because I don't see Boston really dipping that much. I think Swayman's a really good goalie. I think bringing him back, paid him a lot of money. Yes, once they get him up and running, he's gonna provide elite level goaltending. I watched him closely in the first round last year against Toronto. He was the MVP of that series. He was outstanding. So if they get elite level net mining, I think they're stronger up the middle of the ice in Boston this year than they were last year, bringing in Elias Lindholm. Their back end will be just solid, I think. Not spectacular, but solid. I don't see them dropping. So can a team like Ottawa knock at their door, knock at Tampa's door? Yeah, I could see it, but if you have to ask me right now where I'm placing my bet, it's on Tampa and Boston, and it's not on Ottawa and Buffalo and Detroit right now.
And lastly, David, what about the Winnipeg Jets? They're in town tonight. Same 12 forwards as last year to start the season anyway. They've 2 changes on defense. Schmidt's bought out. They lose Brennan Dillon to New Jersey. But that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Colin Miller's in. Fleury's in. Hayden, that is,
Yeah.
on the back end. And really, they made more changes in the coaching staff. Arneal's now the head coach. They brought in Payne and Chanel on the bench. Where do you see the Jets after their 2 unceremoniously ugly exits the last few years in the playoffs?
Well, it's interesting. When I was talking to Cole Perfetti in the summertime, he told me that the fellas were embarrassed with how the last 2 seasons ended, especially after how they played in the regular season last year, which was quite good. So he said there's a recognition now on the part of that group of what needs to change. Now it's going to have to be put into practice to make sure, what's in theory actually comes into reality. So the team is very similar coming back. In other words, I don't see why the regular season should be any different. And it's funny, last year they went 29, 30, 31 games in a row where they gave up 2 goals or less.
Crazy.
They were really good defensively in the regular season, and then it just disintegrated come the postseason. It's hard. I can't explain how you go from one end of the spectrum to the polar opposite, almost overnight when the games took on a little bit more meaning. So, I look at that division. Dallas is winning that division. I'd be shocked if they didn't. Colorado is getting in. Nashville should be in as well. And then after that, I think the Jets will be right there. Utah, St. Louis, they'll be battling. Minnesota, I don't see it. In Chicago, I don't see it. So I put the Jets, if I had to bet right now, they'd be my odds-on favorite to get in the 4th spot. In a battle with a team like Utah and a team like St. Louis. So, as the incumbent, I'm confident in them coming into the year, but I could see other teams pushing as well. But with having talked to Cole and understanding where their mind is at going into the year, I think they understand they're at the point now where this group is probably on its last chance. And if they don't push through, there's going to be some relatively significant changes, or even at the deadline, if they're not in a great spot, there could be some changes, because this is a group that's been together for quite some time too. And the best they've really ever done is get to the second round a handful of years ago. And what was that, 19?
No, they got to the conference final.
The conference final, yeah. So, but that you start to become like San Jose, right, of 15 years ago, where you're really excited about them coming into the year, and then the best they can ever really do is second round, the 3rd round, the odd time, but no further than that. And they've got some contracts that are at the point now where there's some flexibility being bought in, like Nick Ehlers. I could see them making some changes if they don't get it done this year.
Davey, great stuff, my man. Have a good one. We will chat with you next week, and I'll talk to you in the brunch on Sunday.
See you then, buddy.
There you go. That's Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. Jason Gregor. Declan Kruger's here with me. We're live at OTR, Jasper Ave 118. Stop in, baby. It's NHL season again. And get in. You want to go to the game tonight? Just got to be here before 7 o'clock. Get your name in the draw. You could win a pair of sweet seats to the game for free tonight. The Oilers and the Jets, and then you'll have lots of time to get down there. You'll be in your seat for the opening ceremonies, banner raising, player introductions. They'll have a new intro. See what else they got cooking. So that'll be tonight with Oilers. And if you get here and you don't win, just stay. You get lots of great bevy deals, and you get $4 pints. Also, free wings tonight. Ooh, stop in here at OTR. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back coming up after 4 o'clock. We are going to, we're going to hear from head coach Chris Noeblock. We got Gene Principe, Yaremchuk, Spec on a busy Wednesday edition of the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, and Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Need a truck? Want a great deal on a truck? Get into Wolf GMC Buick. It's GMC's Canada-wide clearance. Take advantage of 0% financing on Sierra half-tons. Oh, and guess what? GMC employee pricing is back on all in-stock 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons. That means thousands of dollars in savings on GMC Sierra 3/4 ton and 1 ton. Also thousands off the industry-leading SUV, the GMC Yukon. Get to Wolf GMC Buick now and drive away with money off and a smile on. Just off the Anthony Henday.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League is entering its 3rd season of gameplay. The JPHL now offers academic and athletic opportunities in the 14U, 15, 17, and 18U age divisions. All JPHL games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV with a showcase-style game schedule and high level of travel and accommodations for its team, staff, and players. To learn more about why the JPHL is the fastest-growing elite hockey academy stream in Western Canada, visit juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Troll low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Often when I meet people at a party or I'm hanging out at my favorite restaurants, I'll introduce myself and they'll say, "Oh, you're Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. What can I do about this sore knee? It's been bugging me for months." First, I was thinking, when I'm out like this, I should just tweet my location so people know where to come for a consultation. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money on advertising Leading Edge. Maybe you could come by one of our clinics. That's where we have the technology and really smart physiotherapists who can give you all the advice and treatment you need. Have your people call my people, leadingedgephysio.com.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Your co-op grow team are your local experts because we live here too. Our agronomic specialists stay up to date with the latest research and technology to help support your entire farm operation. Talk to our team for advice tailored to your farm's needs. We have recommendations to help you optimize your crop yield and quality while enhancing the health of your land. Co-op, we're all growing together. Here for your farm, here for your family. Learn more at coop.crs/farm.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Right? It was like Giannis, when he had that, you only win one. There's only one team who wins. So is it just a complete failure? It's disappointing, yes, but not a failure. I think that's two very different things. So the Oilers learned a lot. Right, they came back against Vancouver. Now it was only 2-1, but they came back and beat Dallas. They went further than they've ever gone before. Right, they won 15 playoff games. They know how hard it is to play at a high level that long now. To me, that's valuable. Right, you're not going to be overwhelmed the next time you're in the third round, or if you get to the Stanley Cup final. You will have a better sense of just how to deal with everything, from media to the fan pressure to your own excitement levels, how to be calmer, family members maybe. Like, I'm sure there's so many things going on that first time. Like, it's just a whirlwind. So I still think it's way more positive. Because think about it. On the morning of Game 7, did anybody think the season was a failure at that point? No, everybody said, wow, this is unbelievable. This is as far as we can get. This is great. Now you just got to win one game. And disappointing, yes, but one game can't just turn everything into a failure. Disappointment, yes. Failure, no. At least not for me. Now, let's get a little bit of Chris Noeblock. We'll hear from him. I asked him, we keep hearing about good starts. And so, what's a good start? Is it 10 games? Is it 5 games? Is there a number in his head as far as what you need to have what's called a good start that everybody in your team's been talking about?
I don't think there's a specific number. Obviously, the first game is really important, but I don't know. We've got our segments that we've established, and I guess we'll look at that first segment, but I don't know if there's a certain number.
Fair. So what about now? He talked about segments. So I asked him, what is the segment? How are they breaking it down? Is it 7 games, or is he sticking with the 8 that because if you remember last year, he broke it down. They just said, okay, we're going to do 8-game segments. And if we can go 5-3 in those 8 games, they had done the math, and they said if they could do that the rest of the year, they'd be a playoff team. And obviously they did that. So here's Noeblock on his rationale on their segments and how they break down the season.
We're doing the same things we did last year. We did 8 games, and we figured 8 games, 5-3. That was the goal last year, to put us in a position to make playoffs. This year, 5-3 would put us in about 50 wins. And typically there's probably 5 teams that make that 50 win mark. And so that's kind of our goals this year.
So there you have it. So think about 50 wins. And you know what? I like that you say, hey, you talk about what your goal is. It's 50 wins. It's hard, but that's what we're striving for. And let's see if we can do it. 5 wins out of every 8-game stretch. And so if you look at the Oilers for fun, their first 8-game stretch starts tonight. You have the Winnipeg Jets. Then a few days off. Then the Chicago Blackhawks come to town. Now, the Blackhawks are playing on Friday night, so it's their second back-to-back. Then they have the Calgary Flames at home. The Flames are playing Saturday as of the order, so both teams are on back-to-backs. Edmonton doesn't travel, although it's super short distance. Then they have the Philadelphia Flyers. Then they go on the road for 2 games into Nashville, then an afternoon game on the 19th against the Dallas Stars, where something tells me might be a little bit fiery just because of last year they meet in the playoffs. Wyatt Johnson, I don't know if you saw that clip the NHL put out about. It was funny how many teams view the Oilers as the rival. So Wyatt Johnson in Dallas said it was the Oilers. Quentin Byfield in LA said it was the Oilers. The Canucks, Quinn Hughes and others said it was the Oilers. And there's one other team who's escaped me off the top of my head. Leon Dry. Pardon?
Flames said it as well.
The Flames said, okay, that was the other one. Okay. The Oilers, Draisaitl said Vancouver, and McDavid said Vegas. Or no, he said Vegas. I think Vegas or LA. But either way, there's lots of teams. And plus, Edmonton's good, right? And if you start to beat some teams in the playoffs, it becomes a little bit more of a rival. Maybe not always for you, though, but definitely for them. And so I think that Dallas game, if you're the Stars, it's early in the season. You're looking for any motivation to get up. That'll be a good test for the Oilers. And I think Edmonton wants to test themselves as well. Then they come back. They have Carolina and Pittsburgh. So they need to win 5 of those 8 games to be on pace to where they want to be. Chicago, Calgary, Philly. Yeah, probably. And then you go 2 and 3 against Winnipeg, Nashville, Dallas, Carolina, and Pittsburgh. Seems pretty doable. Then you look at their next 8 games. Detroit, Columbus, Nashville, all on the road, Calgary. Then New Jersey, Vegas, Vancouver, the Islanders. Still, I think a decent stretch. The next 8, Nashville, Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Minnesota, the Rangers. And then they get a rare 5-day break in November, which is odd. And then they come out of it and they play back-to-back in Utah and Anaheim, which is it's kind of funny. So in that 8-game stretch, which is finished against Vegas, they got 2 sets of back-to-back, both on the road, so a little bit harder. I think that's something that we're going to watch for. We'll talk about. So I kind of like it. So, hey, Gregor, they should do a 7-game stretch, playoff mentality. Richard, yeah, you can, but 8 games is you could do it into 10 game sequences, right? You get into 7. Now you're doing what? 11 of them, right? I know it's only 1 extra, but it's like anything. The coach, you want to have less sometimes than more, right? So, okay, now we're going to meet again about our segments. 7 probably comes around a little bit quicker at times. I'm guessing that was maybe part of the motivation to it. Plus, it's an even number. And if the Oilers are in the position, then the last 2 games of the season, they might be sitting guys and resting them. So, I'm not going to say it makes those 2 games irrelevant, but if they're playing well, it makes them irrelevant. And that would be good for them. What should we expect from the second line left wing spot tonight? Was the question for Chris Noeblock?
Both. Yeah, we're not going to be set in stone any certain night. But tonight, Skinner will be playing with Leon.
Yeah, so if you missed it, Skinner's with Leon and Arvidsson. They practiced together yesterday. They only had the 1 day of practice without it. Also, Travis Dermott is going to start in the 3rd pair with Brett Kulak. And Noeblock just talked about the Dermott signing and what he sees his role being with the team this year.
Travis Dermott signing with the team, I believe it was yesterday, coming into the lineup.
Well, that'll be dictated on how well he's playing. And, he's performed very well, and we'll see how he fits in with the team, and most likely his partner, whether that's Stetcher or Dermott playing with Kulak, how will they play together. But I think he'll be playing regularly. Probably a guideline would be 50% of the games. And, if he's playing really well or poorly, or Stetcher's playing really well, they'll dictate how many games he'll play.
There you go. 4:00, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Cougar with you on a lovely game day Wednesday edition. We are live at OTR, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. Stop in at OTR tonight. If you're here before 7 o'clock, you get your name into the draw to win a pair of sweet seats to tonight's home opener. Wasn't sure what you're going to do tonight? Just come on down, relax. You can watch MLB playoffs. You can watch the early game while you're waiting between Montreal and Toronto. You get 5.25 pints of Canadian. Nice. And then during the game, how about this? Free Wing Wednesday tonight. Free Wing Wednesday. Also, I recommend if you want to go to the Battle of Alberta, they're going to give away a pair of tickets on Friday as well here at OTR during happy hour. So you'll probably want to stop in for that as well. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice as they celebrating 25 years, and they're bringing back some of the original and the ultra tasty creamsicle. Go back in time to your faves, download the Boosters Reward app, and order one today.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. The Edmonton Oilers hosting the Winnipeg Jets down at the Ice District. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock tonight. Stuart Skinner, Connor Halley getting the starts between the pipes. Some news for the Oilers. Crazy few days for Rafael Lavoie. Of course, he was waived by the Oil on Monday, then claimed by Vegas. then waived by Vegas. Now the Oilers have claimed him once again. Elsewhere on the NHL tonight, the Canadiens take on the Leafs, the Rangers in Pittsburgh, Flames travel to Vancouver, and the Golden Knights hosting the Colorado Avalanche. The Seattle Kraken have signed goaltender Joey DeCourtois to a 5-year contract for $25 million. He appeared in 50 games last season with Seattle, posting a record of 19, 18, and 11. And Linus Ullmark will be sticking around Ottawa just a little bit longer, signing a 4-year contract extension with an AAV of $8.25 million. Major League Baseball today, the Detroit Tigers blank the Guardians 3-0, taking a 2-1 series lead in that one. Of note, Eric Zabrowski, the Edmontonian, went 1 in the third inning, striking out 2, allowing no runs for Cleveland. Right now, Mets and Phillies are scoreless. In the third inning, the Mets have a chance to wrap this one up with a win. Later tonight, the Royals and the Yankees meeting in KC, tied at 1 apiece, and the Dodgers can finish their series, or the Padres can finish their series against the Dodgers just after 7 o'clock, leading 2-1. NBA preseason, you got the Knicks, Wizards, Rockets, Thunder, Magic in San Antonio, and the Golden State Warriors heading to Sacramento. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Gene Principe of Rogers Sportsnet and Oilers Nation's Tyler Yaremchuk. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. The KJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. You know, guys used to call me a plumber. And now they call you an HVAC technician. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to install furnaces. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay. Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there, now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies, like the original, the Orangesicle, and the Marathon, made with cranberries, bananas, strawberries, orange sorbet, and probiotic yogurt. Happy 25th Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Mr. Rooter meets a ghost.
1 plunge, 2, and 3. A toilet clogged with a ghost? Man, I love plumbing. You're free now.
I will never find peace. The clog is fixed, yes, but I have never trusted the sump pump.
No problemo. I can fix that. Yeah, go to the light, you little scamp.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
To resolve your unfinished plumbing business, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reduce the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. Ooh, we got a challenge for Declan Kruger. Svenja ran 10 sets up and down in 30 minutes. So, Deck saying he could do it in 30 minutes, 11? Oh, man. I want him to go out there and just video this just to see. Now, maybe he'll be, he's a young buck, probably should be able to do it. Cons is, I don't think I could, could I do it? I don't think I could do it in that time, but I could will myself to do it if I had to. But 30 minutes, that's pretty good time. Up and back, that's 3 minutes. That's an average of 3 minutes each, man. It's pretty good time. I like it. Cons, could you do 10, you think?
Maybe. I know it would be a lot of will and a lot of walking. That 3 minutes per, not slow down. Like, you're going to slow down a little bit. That means you're probably starting off at like 2.5 minutes up and down. Probably less.
That's true. That's very true.
I'm more than willing to watch and document this for Declan.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we might have to get the Krugman out there. Yeah, it's one of those where you kind of fast forward the certain parts and just highlight the times when maybe he's up chucking over the railing. We'll see. Our next guest I wonder if nowadays like I just saw him the other day, he's keeping it high and tight. As we go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical, where they always remind you to take action on your savings. If you've been sitting on the fence and you're wondering, do I want to get solar for my home? To save a lot of money. We've had it at the farm for years. It's unreal. You get it at actionelectrical.net. The host of Rogers Sportsnet, you will see him in all his glory in a few hours when the Oilers begin their 45th season in the National Hockey League. Gene Principe joins us. Gino, do you run stairs? Oh, maybe. No, maybe he was so scared of the stairs he hung up. Unbelievable. We'll have to get him back. So there you go. Quick question. Hey guys, does this have any cap implications on the trade deadline? Well, for one day, no, because really that's all it is, right? If Rafael Lavoie's got to stay in the roster for today. Now, if the Oilers make it, they want to put him on waivers, they can. Well, then I guess technically it'd be 2 days. That's fine. Way to go. Look at that. If you're on waivers, does it stop that day, or do you have to wait the other 24? I don't know how that works, to be honest. So I think you're still on the roster. I'm pretty sure, but we'll see. In the big picture, no. The longer you stay on, then you can't accrue as much cap space. That's all it does. So Gene Principe is now with us. Gino, do you run stairs?
You know what? I was actually listening to your segment on that earlier, and I've looked at those stairs many times, never run them. But going back a long time ago when I worked in Winnipeg, so we're talking 95 to 98, I befriended some of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the Canadians on the club, or some of the Canadians, Matt Pierce, who was a running back, Brendan Rogers, who was a linebacker, Troy Westwood. And some of those guys would spend, they weren't necessarily from Winnipeg. Troy's different, but they would spend their off seasons there. And Matt Pierce actually was one of the people that kind of got me into fitness and running. I'd only been like a soccer player runner, which is fine, but he got me into just running without a soccer ball. And so we would run sprints and stuff at the University of Manitoba. And just before camp, we would run the stairs at the old Winnipeg Stadium. And we would run them all. And it's amazing what you can do when someone is kind of leading the way, and whether it's, I don't know if it's embarrassment, but you challenge yourself to do something that maybe you wouldn't normally either A, do, or B, be able to complete if you were on your own. And I remember the first time we did it, I actually had a standard car. And I'm telling you, I could barely drive home with the clutch and the brake and the gas. My legs were like rubber. But I do remember running stairs in it. Maybe I'll do it this spring or summer, because you're always looking for sort of fresh ways to be fit. And that might be another one.
Well, I can tell you, I remember Willie Pless many moons ago. I interviewed him, and he talked about how when he first came to Edmonton, like he was a pretty elite player, but he got in shape because Gizmo, they would run every set of stairs in Commonwealth.
Wow.
Like, so you start, you get on the main concourse, you run down, then you go over and up. Oh, like, are you kidding me? Like, whoa, that is no joke. Those, you try to hoof it up one level of stairs there at Commonwealth. It's a good workout. So
I agree. Speaking of stairs, actually, Jared Bednar from the Avalanche, a lot of times, and I'll have to see if he does it this year. He'll kind of, how in the morning, Jason, the coach will talk, and then he'll almost literally like leave the media availability and go through the bench of the opposing team and run stairs. And I've seen him do it. I've seen some coaches do it over the years. And I'm just to concur with you. You can be in great shape, but stairs is another level, and just a real challenge that isn't kind of a normal challenge, I guess you would say. So I might try it though. I might try it. I don't think I'll be doing it in the fall or winter, but in the spring I might give it a go. And listening to Connor talk about the sort of different stairs within the city, that would be a challenge.
No, you know what? Maybe we'll start a stair running group.
I like it.
See who
That's
wants
great.
to
Yeah,
you could be the leader, Gene. You could be like Forrest Gump and just start growing your hair and just keep it growing.
Yeah, just keep it. Yeah, well, the Oilers feel like a box of chocolates. I guess we won't know what we have until we open it up tonight.
There you go. Well, before we get to the Oilers, what should Oilers fans expect? What are we going to do? Some of the new exciting things that Gene Principe has in store for this year?
Well, interestingly enough, as I was leaving the rink today, some of the fans were around, just getting some autographs from different players from the opposing team or the Oilers if they see them, and they asked me what I had in store, and I said, tonight I don't have anything in store, because it's we've kind of discussed this before. I have different sort of playing fields when it comes to what I can do and when I should do it. And on a national game, first game after a run to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup, we're going to let the team sort of tell the story with me trying to, I guess, narrate it. But then I already got something in mind for the Battle of Alberta Sunday and then Tuesday against the Philadelphia Flyers. I think more and more, Jason, one of the things that if you're going to do it, you got to go big and do it. You can't sort of halfway do some of the skits that I do. You got to really go for it, even if it seems excessive, over the top, overly dramatic, whatever way you want to describe it. I think that it plays better on TV, or at least I keep telling myself that. So tonight will be more, I guess, stoic and reserved because it is a national game. But it will change once I don't do Saturday's game and then back on Sunday, and we'll start with the Battle of Alberta. We'll just kind of go from there game to game. But I really look forward to it. It's been, you're a real creative guy. And I mean, if you get into this type of business we're in and you aren't creative or don't have an aspiration to be creative, it might not be the best thing for you to be doing.
That's fair. Gene Principe, host of on Rogers Sportsnet, joins us. Gino, the Oilers, it's been an interesting few days for Rafael Lavoie. He's on waivers, then he's claimed by Vegas, then he's off of waivers, then he's reclaimed by Edmonton, but he can't go to the minors because someone else put in a claim, one of the top 8 teams in the league. My guess is Colorado when I look at rosters and stuff, but I want to say that to everybody. It's not 100%. That's just my hunch, because they don't actually tell the Oilers which one of the teams put in a claim. They just say a claim was actually put in. And what do you make of Lavoie? What do you think the Oilers do here? Do they keep him on the roster? Their whole goal was, they've said they want to accrue as much cap space as they can, right? So they wanted to go with 12 forwards. Do they? Because if you put him back on waivers now, a team's going to want him. So does Bowman try to make a trade, or does he just say, we'll stick with him?
You know what? Because of his length of time within the organization, first of all, thank goodness for you explaining it, because I've listened to you. I am not a CBA expert, but whether you know it or you find out, you're able to explain it to not only your listeners and viewers, but to other people who are even in the media like myself, because I was a bit confused on the whole process. If it were me, coming off the time he spent in the organization, coming off the fact that I think he had his best preseason for Edmonton, I'd give him a shot. I don't know when that is. But I would give him a shot. And speaking of shots, as you said, his one-timer or shot overall would probably be within the top 20% of the National Hockey League. And I'm not saying right away, but I would consider him on the second power play unit. I mean, if it's something that they need, and I understand there's guys that have played hundreds of games more than him, so I'm always a little bit leery about pushing people forward that maybe someone might say, well, has he really earned that shot? I don't know, but he does do something that I don't think a lot of players can do. We've seen his shot and his one-timer in the preseason and in the American Hockey League. So I don't know if I'm more of a people person than player person, but thinking what Rafael Lavoie has tried to do for the Oilers and has never found a fit, maybe this is all this weirdness back and forth on waivers, off waivers, picked up by the team to put you on. Maybe in some weird sort of way, it leads him to have a chance to stay with Edmonton for a while and gives him an opportunity to play. I'm not wishing anybody, any ill will or certainly any kind of injury, but they might have room for him to be up here as an extra forward and see maybe if he gets a chance what he can do.
Gene Principe joins us. Gene, Skinner, Arvidsson, Draisaitl, regular season. Leon Draisaitl said earlier this week, goes, man, it's hard to talk about chemistry. We've only played 2 games together. And I think that's fair, right? There's obviously high expectations, but it doesn't mean it's going to instantly click overnight. But what do you think is a realistic kind of expectations for that line this year?
Well, I mean, I think they should be a really good line. I've seen Jeff Skinner score lots of goals in lesser opportunities or with lesser teams than this one. Victor Arvidsson, he's got kind of more to him than just goals. I love his feistiness and that agitator element that he has, and he seems to do it. I don't think he has to try. It seems like he just the way he plays gets people upset. So, I mean, I heard you talk about, different amount of players in this morning with Kevin and David Schlemko. They were talking about the possibility of 6 players with 25 goals or more. I think that's a possibility. I think both of those players would be in that range for sure. And certainly Leon is a 40 to 50 goal scorer. And I almost look at it as a challenge for Leon earlier in camp when he said, and I don't think he's bragging. It's his observation that he makes players around him better. And I think that everyone would agree with him. And so I think he's looking at that as an opportunity or a challenge, a situation for him to do that with these 2 proven longtime NHL players. I mean, Leon, as Chris Noeblock has said before, they've been looking for wingers for him. Not that he's complained and not that they've had a shortage of production from his wingers, but they'd like to find him 2 guys that he can play with on virtually a game-to-game basis, barring a few changes here and there, where he can have the kind of experience and goal output that has been hard to find. I mean, it doesn't seem that long ago, Jason, they were trying to find Connor McDavid wingers, and they have proceeded to find them with the arrival of Zach Hyman, and I guess the move of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to the wing, even though he can still play center. So I think the Oilers, that's why Rafael Lavoie isn't where maybe he could be, because they've brought in these players that are top 6. So I expect really a lot of good things from that trio of players.
Gene Principe joins us. Lastly, Gino, it was an interesting question. I think Spec asked that, does Coach Noeblock view last year as a success? Yeah. And he goes, well, we didn't win, so it's not. And I'm like, I really do. Now I can get why when you're in it, but it was successful right up until, the loss. Now, was it disappointing? Yes. But to me, it's still a success. You gained lots. of experience. You learned lots as a group. You learned lots about yourself as an individual, I would think. Like even if you're down 3-0 in a Stanley Cup final, it's not over, right? Like they came all the way back, and then it was a one game do or die. How do you view tonight's banner raising ceremony?
Yeah.
Is it kind of like, let's just get like, is it going to be like as fast as you can kind of thing? Like this will just be do. Okay, there it's up. Okay, let's move on. Like a minute and a halfer.
Yeah, you did ask that question today of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, it is an accomplishment, and then comes the but it's not our goal. And I think that it's far from a participation medal, because to get to within a couple of goals of winning the Stanley Cup, participation medal would go to just the 32 teams, I guess, that would be participating in the NHL. So it's a lot greater than that. But I think it's been quite clear that this is just something that they'll do. And I think, listening to Kevin and David Schlemko this morning and listening to you in 2006, as you mentioned this morning, to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, it was tough to see that. But I think that group might have been more proud of it because it was really unexpected and came kind of out of nowhere, making the playoffs, second last game of the season, beating a Detroit team that had 30 or 40 more points than them, being down 2-0 to San Jose, coming back to win it. I mean, they kept knocking off teams that supposedly they weren't supposed to beat. And they also came back from not 3-0, but 3-1. But this group, I think, Jason, when they went to the conference final in 2022 and lost to Colorado when they were swept, if they'd won the conference final that year and put up the banner, I think maybe there would have been a little more pride in it publicly. But I think it's become quite clear through Amazon as well that there's only one thing that these guys are interested in, and it's the Stanley Cup banner. And I think even tonight, I don't think you have to put up a banner, but I think the Oilers should. It is something that they did accomplish, in being the best team in the West. And I think they're not making a big deal of it. I don't believe the players will be out there as they would be if it was a Stanley Cup banner. They'd all be standing there watching it go up. I don't think that'll be the case. So they're doing it, but they're not making a big deal of it. And then it's onward and forward. So somewhere in there lies how they feel about it. But it is really, there's one step to go. And I think until they get that step, or when they get that step, there won't be a full satisfaction from this team, this city, and I would suggest all of oil country.
Gino, we'll see you down at the rink tonight. Have a great day. As always, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on the stairs.
Thanks, buddy. I look forward to it as well. See you later.
There you go. That's Gene Principe from Rogers Sportsnet. We got a lot of texts flying in. We'll explain it again. I know people joining us and maybe haven't heard everything about Rafael Lavoie. We'll get to that. Also, a great day for Canada baseball players. First time in Major League Baseball history, 4 teammates on the same playoff team, Josh and Bo Naylor, and of course, Kate Smith and Eric Zabrowski from St. Albert. All 4 of them playing for the Guardians today. Zabrowski throwing gas again, as always, in 1 1/3 innings, had no runs given up, had 2 Ks as well. So another a very solid outing for him. We'll come back. Tyler Yaremchuk. Good thing he's not pitching anymore, because Ty wouldn't be able to do the show when he's pitching. But he's done for now. So we'll get to Yaremchuk next on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, it's back, baby. Use the promo code Gregor50, and you'll get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca.
Ready to tackle your toughest tasks? Edmonton Kubota has you covered with the all-new M8 Series tractor with powerful 181 and 201 horsepower engines, Cummins power, and loader readiness. It's built to handle any challenge. And now, for a limited time, get a free 4-year extended warranty when you drive off with an M8 Series tractor. Don't miss out on this unbeatable offer. Visit Edmonton Kubota today and power up your productivity. Edmonton Kubota, where power meets performance.
When it comes to your health, trust Dr. Bryce Henderson for expert care in hip and knee replacements. With years of experience and advanced techniques, Dr. Henderson helps you regain your mobility and quality of life.
Your health is my priority. Let's get you back to doing what you love.
Put your health in the hands of a trusted expert. Book your consultation with Dr. Henderson today. Visit vitalsurgicalspecialist.ca or call 587-391-7864.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores will be closed on Friday to lower prices and then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals in every department. Get 30% off furniture and free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, get 40% off mattresses and buy any TV or appliance to get a $50 credit for furniture, home decor, and mattresses. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. I think it's safe to say we are all paying attention to interest rates these days. If so, you'll like this. We have 0% financing available on Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0% on the Dodge Durango and the all-new Hornet. And the rates on Ram 1500, Ram 2500, and Ram 3500, you guessed it, 0%. Are you picking up the theme? We have 0% financing on virtually all 2024 new models with hundreds to choose from. Why pay interest? Instead, come get a new vehicle at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
At Toyota, we believe your vehicle is more than just a ride. It's family. So make sure it's prepared for whatever Mother Nature has in store. Because winter's a lot like some people's in-laws. It's cold, shows up unexpectedly, and refuses to leave. Trust the experts at Toyota for premium winter tires, batteries, brakes, and more. Beat the winter rush. Book an appointment at shoptoyota.ca or contact your local Toyota dealer today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Be at OTR tonight before 7 p.m. to win a pair of tickets to the home opener against Winnipeg, only at Jasper Ave in 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.428 on a lovely Wednesday afternoon, live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. It's your place to watch the game tonight, your place to go to the game. Get down to OTR before 7 o'clock because we're going to be giving away a pair of seats to the home opener tonight. You could be there. And hey, you know what? If you don't win, you just stay here. There'll be lots of Oilers fans. It's a great place. Everybody loves it here. There's over like 25 TVs. I think even actually, no, now I'm counting. I think I'm wrong. I think I missed 4. I think it's 29. And you got great drink specials. Also free, FREE, free wings during the Oiler game tonight. Jasper Ave 118th Street. And the doctor might be in the house tonight. Dr. Wang, so that's always an added bonus of entertainment for you. Let's talk a little hockey with Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. Ty, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Greg's. I'm doing good. I should have came to OTR with you.
Yeah, you should have, buddy. It's unreal down. By the way, I had a sick clubhouse sandwich for lunch today. Oh, love it. Oh, a fresh avocado, game changer. I know you're getting set for the game, but let's talk about your boy on the mound today. How much of a thrill was that? He comes in there and he's just throwing gas like he has been ever since he's been recalled.
Yeah, still hasn't given up a run, whether it's earned or unearned in his major league career. Hasn't, even on the games where he's coming and there's been runners on second or third, he gets them out of jam. So I was pretty fired up seeing him pitch today. It's man, he's just doing unreal. It's so cool to watch. The nerves I get watching him are unlike anything else.
Dude, I can't. Yeah, you're Mr. Road Trip. You better have a road trip plan to go watch him play next summer.
Yeah, I think I will. I'm assuming he's going to stick with Cleveland. There's no way you don't bring that guy back. So maybe a trip down to Cleveland, Ohio is in my future.
Ooh, buddy. Hey, why not? I have to say I've never been to Cleveland, but that would be a good reason to go. I'd want to go just because of all the every time I think of Major League in Cleveland, like that was my favorite baseball, and there's lots of great ones, but that one, and coming out of the bullpen, the Wild thing, it's unbelievable. I know it's a little bit before your time maybe, but you must have seen that movie.
Oh yeah, I've seen that movie before. It is it's an all-timer.
Okay, you're not Connor, have you seen Major League?
Yeah, I think we had to do that for Movie Watch, actually.
Oh, God. We had, yeah. So you hadn't seen it up until like a year ago.
No. Well, dude, yeah. But yeah, that was one I had missed out on.
Oh, unbelievable. Oh, God. Have you seen most of the sports movies, the football ones at least?
Yeah, I would say so. I think so. Remember the Titans, Friday Night Lights, Any Given Sunday, Little Giants.
Little Giants.
Any I'm missing here?
Yeah, you have Any Given Sunday. Friday Night Lights you've seen?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
What about Brian's song?
Saw Brian's song.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Made for TV movie.
Mr. Heartless. Couldn't even cry at that movie. Unbelievable. Still shocking to me. Ty, Rafael Lavoie. So the Edmonton Oilers, he goes up, it goes to Vegas. Then he comes back on waivers. They reclaim him, but one of the top 8 teams. And so I spent looking at all these rosters and cap space, and I'm thinking it's Colorado because they got 3 guys in their starting 12 forwards with 0 NHL games experience. One of them is 19. The other guy's 5'10". They're small and young. So I could see why they say, hey, here's a guy who's, scored a lot of goals in the American League. Let's give him a shot here and see what happens. Big body, which is what Bednar always likes. So that's who I think it could be. It's not a guarantee for everybody out there, but it could be. So because someone else put a claim in him that's higher in the standings, the Oilers got to keep him on the roster, or they put him on waivers again. But now you put him on waivers knowing a team's going to claim him. So do you just keep him? Your whole goal was to accrue cap space. What do you think they do?
I think you hold on to him for a little bit here. Again, I was big on it when I was on with you last week. I said, send down Brown, keep Dermott. I wanted all the little moves you could do to accrue as much cap space as possible. But I'm sitting here saying, okay, you do have the doubleheader coming up this weekend. What's the harm in keeping him for a week? Yes, it means at the end of the year, you'd have accrued a little bit less money, at the deadline, you'd have accrued a little bit less money, but they're in a pretty good spot. And again, you are going to lose him. So hold on to him for a week. See if someone hopefully not, but what if someone gets banged up? You don't want to be sitting there 7 days from now with some member of the forward group out for 2-3 weeks or a month and going, well, now we wish we had Rafael Lavoie. So I'd keep him for a week and then I'd kind of go from there. Maybe even get him into one of those games in the doubleheader and see what he does. Because he didn't get a lot of looks in the preseason because of his injury.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fair. You know what? It's a unique situation. Like Rafael Lavoie, at least he doesn't have to worry about other teams being interested in him. To me, he could say that, you know what? Hey, I can play here. Vegas claimed me. Now, I know it didn't last long, but obviously they had some interest in me. And then, and it's not like he's getting claimed, no offense, by a 28th place team. Edmonton was a good team last year and a team in the top 8 who, yeah, sure, injuries or whatever, but opportunity can create itself at different times. And maybe in a weird way, this is like Edmonton's like, well, we don't want to lose him for nothing, so let's at least give him some looks and see what happens.
Yeah, and I know some people are like, oh, man, it must just be torture for him not knowing where he's going. And I understand that, but also maybe he's sleeping great. Maybe he's sitting there going, hey, I'm an NHLer. I think I'm going to be playing in the NHL this year. This isn't so bad.
Well, my question is, though, because Vegas, when he got claimed by Vegas, they would have known right away if they were keeping him or not, right? And so they might have told, hey, man, don't fly here because we're going to put you back on waivers. Just stay there, right? Like I could see that happening, right? Like why, hey, jump on a plane, lands in Vegas. Oh, we decided to put you on waivers. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he's in the minors at that point. He doesn't have to move anywhere at that point. So I'm curious if he's actually ever left Edmonton.
I would assume no. Like you said, like Vegas knew right at noon that they had those 2 guys. So why would you make him fly? Like if you knew right away you're going to keep Schwint, you do the player the courtesy. Hey, we're not keeping you. So I would imagine he's still in Edmonton. But I haven't caught the beginning of the show because I was watching the Cleveland Guardians game. But do you think the Oilers will just put him back on waivers tomorrow?
I would be surprised because it means they're almost saying, well, now we know someone's going to claim him.
Yeah.
Right? Because the team who put it, like I know some people have said, well, maybe they're just doing it to screw with Edmonton. And I'm like, okay, guys, but I think you're overthinking it because to quote screw with them means that 1 extra day on your cap. That's all it means, right? Like it's not, and the cap's accrued every day. So, it's about $4,000 is what it is, I think, for the league minimum per day, right? 775 divided by the 100. I think it's 185 days. I don't even know what it is this year, but I'll just go by that number. So it's like $4,600 or something. So you're not really screwing people over as much as you think. And I don't think a team puts in a claim just to do that. I think like that, because I look at because Colorado, here's the thing. Colorado might have put in a claim originally, but we just never heard about it because he went to Vegas first.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. I would imagine that's true. Like there's no way Colorado, you mentioned their roster. It's not like there's been any injuries or surprises over the last 2 days. So they probably had interest in him a couple of days ago. And maybe they looked at this and were like, well, might as well. And if we don't get him on this one because Edmonton wants him back, at least we're going to force Edmonton's hand. Maybe not trying to screw with Edmonton, but again, force them to do something and try and move someone off their roster. I saw people speculating, hey, Corey Perry's the higher cap hit. Why don't you put him on waivers? But I really can't see them doing that.
Corey Perry, first of all, Corey Perry had 12 goals in 54 games last year in the regular season. He is a gamer. He knows how to play in limited minutes, and they really respect his leadership in the room. Right? Everybody saw when he was like, "Hey, Kane, settle down." Like he's not afraid to speak up at time. He's highly respected. Now, do I think Corey Perry is a lock to be on their playoff roster? I do not. Just like I don't think Derek Ryan is. I don't think Troy Stetcher is. I think there's going to be some moves between now and then, possibility. But I'd be stunned if the Edmonton Oilers said, Corey Perry, now you're suddenly going to go to the minors. We haven't played a game yet. Like that would kind of go against everything. So no, I don't think that's even a remote possibility right now.
No, neither do I. Although you do bring up an interesting question that we were debating on my show, which is how many players in the lineup tonight. So in the starting, call it 18, if you don't count the goalies, how many of them do you think will be in the night one of the playoff lineup? And I think probably 2/3 of the fourth line and Ryan and Perry aren't there. And at least one defenseman, maybe two.
Yeah, one for sure. Like I think Emerson's going to be better than a lot of people think.
Me too.
And if they get a top D, then you know what? If he becomes your third pair, nothing wrong with that. It just makes your third pair even stronger. So I think Emerson will be fine. So I could see 3. Like I don't think Dermott's going to be there either.
Are you surprised they're playing him tonight over Stetcher though? Like I read your piece earlier in the week about Stetcher. I like his game, and I didn't hate Travis Dermott during the preseason or anything like that. And he's played NHL games before. I get that it's somewhat similar, but for me, like you had Stetcher playing on that right side, you're flipping Dermott over to his offside now. I'm a little bit surprised it's not Stetcher for opening night.
I'd say a little bit, but I looked at how they use. I was watching the usage and going back and looking at their stats, how they use Dermott. I think they might like him a little bit better on the penalty kill, Ty. And so that just because I know they're going to want to use Bouchard some on the penalty kill. I'm not sure how much, right? They'll probably get him in. I won't be surprised. He's probably maybe the number 5 guy right away with Emerson, Kulak, Ekholm, and Nurse as the 4 guys that they'll use to begin with. But I'm a little surprised because he's not a natural righty. And that's what I'll be watching for is how does he play in an NHL pace game on the right side against a pretty like Winnipeg. They got a really deep team. Like you look at Iafallo's on their 4th line. He's a really solid NHL player, right? Like their 3rd line's got Lowry. They got some good players. They don't have the top 6 of Edmonton because they don't have McDavid or a Draisaitl, but Kyle Connor's a good player and Scheifele's a good player. And, Cole Perfetti, what can he do? But tonight, there's not like a 4th line that doesn't really generate much offensively or anything. You got to respect Winnipeg's lineup top to bottom. They don't have the high end skill of Edmonton. They got pretty good depth though across 4 lines.
Yeah, I look at their forward group, like they have the one top line because, Connor and Scheifele are top line players. And then they basically just have 3 really pesky, good third lines, right? Like all those lines kind of seem to play that same style. Like even a guy like Nick Ehlers, he's not afraid to mix it up a little bit. But yeah, 3 like really good third lines. And you're right, there's no quote unquote easy shift where you can sit there and go, whew, deep breath, throw Kulak and Dermott out there. Like it's going to be a grind tonight. Winnipeg always plays them tough.
Yeah, 100%. Now that the season is here, what's your real, like, where do you see the Oilers? Just regular season. I don't want to get to playoffs because there's so much of the lineup's going to change between now and then, but where do you see them at the end of the season at the regular season?
I think they're going to be one of the best teams in the league. Like, I think if you're just going to try to go, somewhat linear here with who's out and who's in from last year, I like Arvidsson more than Fogle on a game-to-game basis. I like Jeff Skinner in their top 6, and I recognize you don't have Evander Kane, but still, you lose a little bit in the toughness side of things and the tough to play against side. But I think Jeff Skinner is going to be able to cover what Evander Kane gave you offensively. And you lost Ryan McLeod, but you're going to have an entire season of Adam Henrique here, who I know isn't going to get the power play minutes that he got in Anaheim. So maybe his numbers will dip off a little bit this season. But still, even when he came over to the Oilers, 6 goals in 22 games. That is a, pretty close to, or that's an above a 20-goal pace. So I think the third line is going to be able to give you something. I'm excited to see what Connor Brown can do. He won't be hopefully coming in and starting as slow and sluggish as he did last season. So I think their forward group is going to power them on a lot of nights. And, I do like Emberson, and I think Dermott and Stetcher, they're the 6th defenseman. As much as you would like to have a more complete, well-rounded blue line, I think it's serviceable, and I'm always high on Stuart Skinner. Like, I think on paper, this team should absolutely win the division. I think they should be right there with Dallas to win the Western Conference, and I think they should be right in the conversation for the President's Trophy. And the only thing I'm hoping is that the team doesn't take their sights off what's in front of them. Hopefully, they're not buying into any sort of mindset, like I know some fans are, of like, just get us to the playoffs. Get us to the playoffs so we can try go on another run here. You need to stay focused on a day-to-day, and I think that's going to be one of their bigger challenges.
Ty, should be a hell of a season, man. We'll talk to you often. We'll see you tomorrow on the rundown. Have a good one.
Sounds good. Thanks, Greg.
There you go. That's Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, Declan Kruger, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. It is the Gregor Show, is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and just in time for the regular season, baby. Use the promo code Gregor50 and you'll get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. We'll come back. We got 5 questions, spec, and more on a busy game day edition of the Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here for Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients. Better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients. Better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports20.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Albertans celebrate a bounty of beautiful places to visit, boundless adventures to take, all in driving distance. And Sherwood Honda has the fuel-efficient vehicle that helps you go even farther and appreciate more. Hybrid CRVs and Civics mean more thanks in your tanks, more great trips to be grateful for. And of course, Sherwood Honda is thankful for the chance to help you get there. It's a beautiful time of year, and it sure would be nice to hit the road with Sherwood Honda.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
There's nothing worse than having cold toes in the winter, especially when you don't have a pair of warm, fuzzy socks to warm them up.
This October, make a senior's day by participating in Socktober. Sports 1440 supports Operation Friendship Senior Society as they aim to collect 10,000 warm, new winter socks for seniors to keep their toes warm this winter. Donate your new cozy socks during business hours at our West Edmonton Mall studios. For more information, visit ofss.org. Socktober, supported by Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. This is one big deal for one big pizza. Get an extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99. Order today at papajohns.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
On 1440 in our inbox. Hey guys, why would Vegas have claimed Lavoie in the first place? Well, so how the waiver wire works is, so when a player comes on waivers, you have 24 hours to put in a claim, right? You have to submit your claim, but you don't know if you're going to get the person. It's like if you play fantasy or not. When a guy's on waivers, you put in your claim. So sometimes you'll put in multiples because you're not sure if anybody else is going to get in a claim. They wanted an extra forward, so they put in a claim for Schmidt and Lavoie. Probably thinking, well, we might not get both. If we get one, that's good. Well, they end up getting both. And they didn't really need both. They don't have room for both. So then they made the decision in the organization to put Lavoie back on waivers. So that's what happens. Because you don't know until the same time. You'll get an email. Okay, guess what? You got Lavoie, you got Schmidt. It comes in pretty much at the same time. So that's how it works. And it's just like the Oilers. The Oilers don't know which team put in a claim to get Lavoie. It's what we know for sure. It's one of the teams who finished higher than them in the standings, top 8 team, but you don't know which one. Now, if Stan Bowman wants to find out, he'd call around and say, hey, did you put in a claim in? For instance, if they want to make a trade, that's something you would look at potentially. So if you want to find out which team it is. My gut, if I look at all the rosters, if I had to pick a team, it's not really screwing with them. Right? Like, what if Edmonton has a forward get hurt tonight? Rafael Lavoie plays on the weekend, plays great, and all of a sudden, you know what? Scores 12, 13 goals for the Oilers this year. Did you really screw them? Like, you put in a claim because you think the player can help your team. I don't think you worry about, quote, screwing the other guy, because is it really that much of a screw job? He's on the roster for a day. If they didn't want him, they could just put him on waivers tomorrow. It's not like it's that big of a, quote, screw job, per se. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, and it's coming down this Friday. Midnight Mazza, 7 hours only from 5 p.m. until midnight on Friday. Huge savings in store. Furniture, mattresses, TVs, you name it. Anywhere from 30 to 50% off. The Brick and thebrick.com this Friday.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1 today. Let's get the official prediction for the Oilers, and how far do you think they go this season?
Well, I'll stick with my prediction daily face-off. I think the Oilers end their drought and win the division for the first time in 36 seasons. They will... I have them beating the Rangers in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Maybe for the second consecutive year, the team that loses finds a way to go on. I think they learned some very valuable lessons, and I'm going to go with you. I'm going to believe that they can find a way to get it done this year and bring Stanley home. Question number 2 for you. Game day prediction, just for like old time's sake. What happens in the game tonight? Who wins? And a bold prediction.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers on season opening games on home ice are 21 wins, 9 losses, 3 ties / overtime losses. So they've been pretty good. Their whole message was we need a better start. We want a better start. And their captain is a rather focused player. So I have the Oilers victorious tonight, 4-3.
All right. I'm going to say Oilers win. I want to see some fireworks. I want the over to hit 5-2. And my bold prediction, shorthanded goal for the Oil in this one. Question number 3 for you. Look at this Jets team, the opponent on the team. Who stands out to you, and where do you think they finish in the Central Division?
Good question. I think with their second or third, Colorado, man. But I look at their forwards right now, like Lekkonen's the other guy who's out that no one's really talking about. Lekkonen's out, Nichushkin's out, Landeskog. Now, Landeskog hasn't played for a few years, so I'm not even sure that really counts. But Nichushkin's a big loss, and Lekkonen's a huge loss. Like, look at their depth. So I'm going to say Dallas wins that division. I'll say the Jets are third. Nashville and them are like by a point or 2 separate.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the team I'm looking forward to seeing in that division. I still have them top 3 in it. In terms of players to watch, for me, it's always Kyle Connor. He's one of my favorite players. Non-Oilers to watch. Can put the puck in the back of the net if you give him any space. So certainly got to watch out for him in tonight's game. Question number 4. Of course, we saw the NHL get going last night on North American soil. Did you have any big takeaways from the 3 games we saw yesterday?
Go ahead.
Yeah, for me, it maybe less to do with players and on the ice, but I mean, I think Utah is the home for hockey. I know it's one game and they were probably extra jacked up for that game, but what a difference from what you saw in Arizona. Obviously, the arena size and the crowd, I saw guys drinking beers out of shoes. Like, it was a good time. Like I said, it could be one game, could just be a one-off, but I don't think so. That's a young, fun team to watch. Dylan Gunther gets the first goal in Utah HC history. I think that we have a home in Utah when it comes to NHL hockey.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Their owner's committed. They're going to be, once this season's over, they're revamping that whole facility. It's going to be even better with sight lines and everything. Then they're going to have a real team name, even though everybody seems to know it's going to be the Yeti. So, yeah, they're there for the long term. When you've got an owner who's committed, that makes a big difference. No question. And you know what? They've stockpiled lots of good assets for years, but they never had an owner who was willing to then finally say, okay, let's spend some money here. Let's keep these guys. Gunther signed long-term. Keller signed long-term. They went out and got Sergachev and other guys. So you can have all the best young prospects in the game, but if you're never having any success or any commitment to them long-term, well, then they end up all leaving or you move them anyway. And most guys don't want to stay in a losing environment forever. So I think, Utah is going to they'll be a competitive team. You know what? The fact they haven't made the playoffs in a while, and I know they had the Cinderella run in the bubble, but realistically, it's been a long time since that team's been competitive at all. That organization, I know it's a different franchise now, but yeah, I'll be stunned if Utah, I think they'll be a solid organization in the league. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff contender, cup contender, but they should be a good team. Are people going to want to go there more than any other place? I don't know about that yet, but when you have an owner who is open and honest like he is, I think that will gravitate and attract some players.
Final question for you today. It is International Pizza and Beer Day. A great combination, no doubt. But in your opinion, what is the best food and drink combination?
Food and drink combination. Oh, gosh. Does it have to be an alcoholic drink?
No, anything you want to go with.
Because if I just go with a simple float, it's a pretty good combination, but I guess pop isn't food. So I'll take that out. I'm going to say my best drink food combination, a really good red wine and steak is very delicious. So I think I might go with that.
Good pick. I'll just throw this one. Nice crisp Coca-Cola with McDonald's fries is always nice. But how about chocolate cake and a nice cold glass of milk would be the top for me.
See, I like cookies and milk almost more because I can dip the cookie in the milk.
That's a good one.
But Dude, we could go a long time on dessert combinations for me for sure. But yeah, I like that. I can get on board with that one. Oh, also cons. We had lots of people texting in for other football movies. Varsity Blues from Kev. What about Air Bud from Dave? The Program from Bill. North of Dallas 40 from Kurt. Have you seen that one?
No, I've seen Varsity Blues and the replacements that came in. Haven't seen The Program or North Dallas 40. Daryl had draft day. I've seen that every day.
Program with James Caan.
No,
You'd actually like The Program. Yeah, you should watch it. Yeah, you should really. As a football guy, you should watch The Program.
I would like to, and then
especially when it. Yeah.
What's the one about the?
Pretty.
You go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's a very timely movie for the era that it was made in. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
The Program.
So yeah, I'm just looking at football movies. Gridiron Gang, I've seen it. Blindside, seen it. Invincible, seen it. Of course, We Are Marshall, I've seen it. American Underdog, I've seen that one. I didn't see the Sean Payton story because I got about 3 minutes in, and it might have been the cringiest movie I've ever seen when they imposed Kevin James into the Saints Super Bowl celebration. I would not recommend that one. But I do need to see Greater as well. That's another one. Brandon Burlsworth. I don't know if you've seen that one. I've heard really good things.
Oh, I watched it. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, I didn't know anything about that story, and I watched that. I think it's on Netflix is where I watch it. So that one was pretty good. Yeah, the Peyton one was, I could have been done way better, right? And first of all, no offense, but James is not believable as Sean Payton. That was the part that I was like, this is the guy you're. They don't even like. They're not even in the same like remote look or body type or anything. So that part was a little odd to me. The story itself, it was done in a way where Peyton didn't want to give up much, is what I found. It was like, oh, let's just do this, but it didn't really give us any information, which is unfortunate. The Longest Yard, Cons, you seen that one?
Seen both of them, yeah. The original and the remake.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Rudy, I've seen.
Yeah.
Did I not say Remember the Titans? That's one of my favorite movies
for sure. That was your first one. Yeah.
One of the best of all time.
Hey guys, Doug has a good one. Burger and a shake. That's true. Something about a burger and a shake that's better than burger and a pop. I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I thought he meant a football movie, but that is a good one.
Yeah, I don't think Burger and a Shake is a football movie. But, yeah. There you go. So, 4:59, Mark Spector will join us as we inch closer to tonight's puck drop orders and the Jets. Do you want to go? Well, then get down here to On the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street if you're here before 7 o'clock. I know, no rush. Don't worry. You don't have to speed over here and get in an accident. You have until 7. You get great drink specials in the meantime. And then at 7 o'clock, they'll do the draw, and somebody's going to go to tonight's Orders Jets games. Awesome. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
It is a game day. The Edmonton Oilers kicking off this season, taking on the Winnipeg Jets down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock. Stuart Skinner, Connor Halley getting the starts in between the net. Coming up at 6, we've got the pre-game show with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere around the NHL, you got the Canadiens and Leafs, Rangers, Penguins, Flames in Vancouver, and to cap it all off, the Golden Knights hosting the Colorado Avalanche. Crazy few days for Rafael Lavoie as he was claimed by the Oilers today. He's, of course, waived by the team on Monday, then claimed by Vegas, then waived by Vegas. Now back in the Oilers organization, the Kraken signed goaltender Joey Decorto a 5-year, $25 million extension, and Linus Ullmark sticking around with the Ottawa Senators 4-year extension with an AAV of $8.25 million. Major League Baseball right now, Phillies on top of the Mets 1-0. In the top of the 6th, the Mets do lead that series 2-1. Earlier on, the Guardians fell to the Tigers 3-0. Edmonton product Eric Sabrowski went 1 1/3 innings, striking out 2, allowing no runs. Later tonight, Royals taking on the Yankees. And then you got the Dodgers and the Padres. The Padres can wrap this one up with a win. In the association, the preseason rolls on. Wizards, Knicks, Thunder, Rockets. You got the Magic in the Spurs And to wrap it up, Kings hosting the Golden State Warriors. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. And of course, more Oilers talk to get you ready for the home opener. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions assembled.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores will be closed on Friday to lower prices and then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals in every department. Get 30% off furniture and free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, get 40% off mattresses and buy any TV or appliance to get a $50 credit for furniture, home decor, and mattresses. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
I'm Rick Showers from Noeblock RV, and we have hundreds of RVs to show you. Now, fall is not the traditional time to buy an RV, but here's a pro tip. Every used RV is a one-of-a-kind, and one of them is perfect for you. But you never know when you're going to find it.
Especially if you have a lot of must-haves and deal breakers on your wish list.
That's right, Bob. Used RV buyers are picky, looking for just the right one. I'm not saying the RVs on our lot now are any better than the ones we'll have in the spring. They're not. But they are different. The ones on our lot today will be gone by spring.
Be a shame if the perfect one got away.
That's what I'm getting at, Bob. If you find one you like, put a ring on it. No Bull makes it ridiculously easy because we'll pay for winterization, storage, and get it all ready for you next year. All you need to do is show up in the spring and it'll be ready for your first adventure. Couldn't be easier.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Jaffa Machinery. Did you know that Jaffa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Jaffa's service department is here for you. Get a quote now at jaffamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Cougar with you as we are live on location on the Rocks Jasper Ave 118th. Stop in today. You can win tickets to tonight's home opener. Be here before 7 o'clock, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. Of course, it is the Gregor Show, live on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook and X, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and it's back. You have free promo code. You get a $50 free play. Use the promo code Gregor50. And guess what? In November, I'll tell you a new one. So there you go. Gregor50 at playalberta.ca. For anybody, return user, brand new user, doesn't matter. Use it, Gregor50 at playalberta.ca. Good luck. Oilers, Jets. are going to get going at around probably 8. I don't even know the exact time tonight. Probably closer. You know how it is. 8:12, 8:18, somewhere around there. But there will be, if you're going to the game, and it might be you winning, but if you're going to the game, get in your seats early. They recommend around 7:45, 7:50, because, of course, there's a pregame ceremony with the banner raising, player announcements, and more. So, and then, of course, you have the whole new intro that a lot of fans like to watch. I always put a new one out for the regular season, so enjoy that. Now, let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. And you know what they do? They love promoting from within. So whether you're just starting out, right, the temporary job, labor, we've seen guys move all the way up to the top, foremen, superintendents, and more. So they pride themselves on. They like being loyal to their workers who are loyal to them. That's GS Construction, and they're hiring. Go to Indeed.com. Look up GS Construction as Mark Spector joins us. And Spec, it's been the whirlwind for Rafael Lavoie on waivers. Vegas claims him back on waivers. Edmonton claims him, but he doesn't go to the American League because another team above Edmonton in the standings last year, one of the top 8 teams in the league, also put in a claim. So he can't be sent directly to the minors for Edmonton. So now he's on their roster. What do you think they do with Rafael Lavoie?
Well, the good news for Rafael Lavoie is he's getting paid NHL money through all of this, right? He's on an NHL roster right now, so he gets paid at an NHL rate, not an AHL rate. So although it's unsettling and it inconveniences him, at least he's getting paid for it. The interesting thing for me, Jason, is we know that one of the other team that laid a claim for this player was ahead of Edmonton in the standings, right? Is that what we think? It was one of the teams that finished.
Well, no, it has to be. It has to be. The way around. It has to be, because it's waiver wire works from bottom to top.
Right.
And so every team below Edmonton didn't put in a claim. So Edmonton did. They get him first, but they can't send him to the minors because they were the original team. Had no one else claimed him, they could have. That's the rule. But another team from 1 to 8 did claim him. And now he's on the Oilers roster. And they do this. This is put in. People are wondering, well, why does the league do this? So for players' protection, because the PA wants guys in the NHL. Some organizations are deeper than others. And so because you can't play in Edmonton doesn't necessarily mean you can't play in the NHL. And that's what they do with this.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is this. Now, if the Oilers waive him again and only Vegas claims him, Vegas can take him and put him right into the minors with no more waivers. So Vegas wins. So the other team that claimed him, I read where you think it's called, let's say it's Colorado. That's what you thought.
Yeah.
Does Colorado, everybody knew the Oilers were going to claim Lavoie. So for Colorado, they could put a claim in there with no intention of getting the player, right? So
they could, but what's the benefit of doing that? What's the benefit for Colorado to do that?
Are they doing Kelly McCrimmon a favor, or is someone trying to screw Edmonton? Edmonton's one of the very best teams, and someone out there thought, let's throw a little wrench into the Oilers' cap. Or maybe Kelly McCrimmon's got a friend on another team and said, look, put a claim in on this guy. If something goes haywire and you guys end up with him, we'll give you a 6th-round pick for him. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if the team that put the claim in really isn't that crazy about having Lavoie, but they're a little more crazy about throwing a wrench in the Oilers' works.
Yeah, I'm not a big conspiracy guy. Did you look at Colorado's lineup, Spec? I tweeted it out. Did you see their roster?
Yeah, I know. I did see their roster. They got a bunch of guys who haven't played before.
Yeah. And
so why would they bring in another guy who hasn't played before?
Because he's not 19. He's scored 28 and 25 goals in the American League, and he's not 5'10". That's what those guys are, right?
Sure, that's very possible. I mean, you're assuming it's Colorado. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. There's no way to prove that you're right. So anyway, listen, Rafael Lavoie is bouncing around here, and the more this stuff goes on, the harder it seems for the Oilers to get this guy to Bakersfield, and they don't want him in Edmonton. So I'm not sure how Stan Bowman's going to get to the bottom of this one.
Yeah, well, you know what? Now, here's the other thing. So here's the rule because people are like, well, just trade Lavoie. So by the rule, that if they want to trade Rafael Lavoie, and let's say a team out there agrees, they have to offer or offer him to the team who put in the claim first. If that team says, no, we're not, now it's a real, hey, we'll trade you for a 1st rounder. Obviously not, right? Like it's got to be what's a realistic trade at that point, which would be a late round draft pick. right? That's what it would be. And so now if that team says no, then you can trade him to someone else. But it's going to be really hard to trade him to someone else because guess what? No one else put in a claim or they could have got him for free.
Everybody knows that he's destined for the waiver wire, so why would you trade anything for him?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So, but that is the rule though, by, that's then if they don't, he can be traded. So it's rare. That's why it's going to be hard to trade him. Number one, right? It's the only, and Colorado's like, well, no, I don't want to trade for him because I don't want to give you up anything. So then they're like, okay, well, we put him on waivers and yeah, they take him. So, but there's no real benefit to Edmonton to, they can't just trade him to some other team to say, hey, do us a favor. Like we're going to trade you to one of the Anaheim, for instance, right? If they are Anaheim for future considerations, they would have to make that offer to Colorado first is the rule.
Sure. So I don't know. I mean, part of me says, here's an idea. Why don't you just play him? But look down their right wings. Like who's he replacing on this team as the season starts? He's he needs an injury, right? But we haven't played any games yet. So Rafael Lavoie is definitely in a bit of a no man's land here. They don't want to keep an extra forward right now until someone gets hurt and until but they can't send him down without losing him. So it's a quandary. It's kind of funny. The Oilers got put in a real tight spot when Doug Armstrong made those two offer sheets on Broberg and Holloway. And, the Jackson and Bowman did the best they could under very, very difficult circumstances, but they lost both players and it was a crappy situation and you lost two good players. Now they can't even send this guy to the minors. They've tried to, he's been waived twice through the league and Edmonton's probably 30-70 or 40-60. They're going to lose this guy really through no fault of their own, Jason.
Well, it's always a fault. They're the ones who put him on waivers. So it was their decision, not their fault, right? They put him on waivers. And
it's their decision. You tell me how he makes this team. Who's he better than?
No, but it's not. But you can't say it's through no fault of their own. Is all I'm saying. It was their decision. No one forced them to do it. They made the decision based on how they constructed their roster.
Well, okay.
They wanted to improve cap space.
Hey, I'm just saying about 70 guys just went through waivers in the last week. But it's Edmonton's guy who they're going to lose. Not many teams lost guys here, right? Is it 2% of guys that go on waivers get picked up? Well, the way it's going for the Oilers right now, one of the guys belong to them, and whether or not it's their fault, Jason, I'll tell you right now, it is their problem because they're getting thinner and thinner every time a young guy walks out the door.
Yeah, or they just keep them and like I get the theory behind accruing cap space. But it's only a theory. This whole thing that they were going to sit in utopia world and accrue cap space all the way to the deadline was a ridiculous notion. I know people look at Puck Pete. Oh my God, it's 1 million. It turns into 4 million. Yeah. If he's on there every day and they have nobody hurt, what are the odds of that? All they need is one forward to twist his ankle tonight and be out a week. And guess what? Now you got to recall another forward. So there goes a week. Right. And then there's another week later on in November, blah, blah, blah. So to me, you're like, hey, maybe we just keep Lavoie. They're still not over the cap. They still have 387, give or take right now. And then when Yaremchuk comes off, they would make another 101K and away you go. Like they're not in this tough of a situation here. Like, you know what? So they're not accruing $1 million in cap space. The odds of them doing that were so ridiculously low anyway. I don't see why it's considered a loss.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. I guess my counter would be you try to make some plans and then your plans get screwed up. So sure, maybe they got to cut. Maybe before we've played the first game this season, they got to alter the plan that they made. And that's fair. Maybe that's how it is. You know what?
Like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Well, it's like some teams get a whole bunch of injuries and they have to change their plan because of that. And that's just bad luck too. So sure, you best laid plans and then the season starts and everything changes. They'll figure it out. In the end, it's a small problem compared to others you could have. You could be Colorado and not have had Gabriel Landeskog for the last 2.5 years or whatever it is. That's a much bigger problem than this.
Yeah, they're not going to have Landeskog. They don't have Nichushkin. They don't have Lehkonen. Like, you know what? That's why they wanted. Now, I don't know this for sure. I'm making an educated guess when I looked at all the rosters of those top 8 teams and who could use a Rafael Lavoie. I don't buy the theory that a team would just do it to screw them over, but maybe I'm naive in thinking that. Maybe there's a team that out there that's like, hey, every little screw job we can do. But really, like Edmonton knew 2 days ago when they put Rafael Lavoie on waivers, there was a chance he would get claimed. They knew it. So that asks us a question, Spec. The other day, Edmonton was like, okay, we lost him to Vegas. Now we move forward. Now they got him back. But if you thought you had lost him, could they just put him on waivers tomorrow and just lose him again and say, hey, we knew that 2 days ago, and that's the risk we're willing to take? What do you think of that?
Well, I have a feeling that Vegas would claim him back, knowing that they are allowed to take him straight to the minors.
No, they aren't. Not if Colorado puts in another claim.
Not if someone else puts in another claim, and I guess we'd figure out on our little conspiracy theory if someone is putting in another claim or not. Listen, man. I don't know what to tell you. You know what? Nobody knows what's really going on out there. Let's see if they keep this player. He only plays if there's injuries. He's a bit piece here. I'm not telling you that Rafael Lavoie is ever going to be an NHL player of any import, frankly. So we've probably spent too much time talking about him anyhow.
Yeah, that's fair. Looking at tonight's game, the Winnipeg Jets come to town, Spec, a team that had 110 points. Like, they're a really good team last year, and then absolutely got caved in the first round of the playoffs. They didn't really make any changes. 2 defensemen. Schmidt got bought out. They lose one, other one, Brennan Dillon, in free agency. They bring in Colin Miller. They bring in Fleury. The biggest change would be behind their bench. What do you make of this Jets team? I still think they're good, but are they good enough to really be a contender when the last 2 years they're out in 5, and not just out, but getting spanked on the way out?
Yeah, that's the weird thing for me is they're that was a team last year. At one point, they were leading the Central and looking really strong. And then, they backed off a little and they still made the playoffs. And you're right. For 2 years in a row, they've not performed at all in the playoffs. And I'll be honest with you, here's a good example. Nikolai, they got a bunch of pending UFAs this year. One of them's Nikolai Ehlers. If the same thing happens this year, if they're a good regular season team that can't win the playoffs, what do you do, Jay? Do you take the last 3, the 3 seasons in totality and say, look, something's wrong here. We win over 82 games, but we don't win in the first round. Is there do you maybe take a look at all your UFAs and say, no, we got to put a new face on this team? When you're Winnipeg and you have a hard time getting free agents, can you put a new face on this team? Is my question. It's a good team, but not when it counts, and that's hard to figure out.
Yeah, that's fair. Oilers, did it yesterday at practice. He went back to Skinner, Draisaitl, and Arvidsson, which isn't a surprise to me. Leon Draisaitl even said, he goes, guys, like, no one can evaluate our line. We played 2 games. And he goes, I didn't even play very well in those games. Like, I after watching last night, Spec, and yesterday's 3 games, I was like, oh my God, I don't even know if I'll ever talk about preseason of making any sort of evaluation on a player, because it's not even remotely close to even the regular season pace. Like, those games yesterday made the preseason games look like, a beer league game.
Yes. I was talking to Kyle Connor in the dressing room this morning, and he echoed everything we've heard. It's not just the Oilers because they were in the Stanley Cup that didn't care about preseason. The Jets were no different. He says he says either you play too many games, like he said, how many games did guys here play? I said, well, Connor played 5 games. He goes, man, that's a lot of games. But if you don't play a lot of games, you play Monday, and then you don't play again until the following Saturday, and then you don't play again until the next Thursday. And every time you're starting all over again. So I don't know what to tell you about preseason. This is what I do know, though, that during the season, this is why guys who get hurt and miss training camp always struggle. About halfway through November, which is roughly speaking a month from now, the league takes a huge step forward. Everybody gets caught up after a month of preseason hockey. Systems play gets firmed up, and teams are playing the way their coach wants them to play, and the game takes a giant step in November. That's why the guy who misses camp and misses October, who walks in the league in November 20th or December 1st, always struggles, because there's a big step yet to be taken. It happens every year. Guys right now what percentage are they at, Jay? Are they at 85%? I don't know what they're at, But by about November 15th, they're all at 100%, and they're not there today. I guarantee you that.
Yeah. Fun. Connor McDavid. How many points he get this year?
How many points does he get this year? I see his point totals sort of probably diminishing as he gets older, not because he's not as effective, but because I think, first of all, I think there's going to be a second power play unit on this team a little bit more this year. How about 128 points? What do you have last year?
132?
That's what I got, something like that. I'll tell you, I'm going to call him just shy of 130 this year.
Wow. See, I think he's going to be close to 150. I think he is motivated. He's still in the prime of his career.
Yep.
What he did in the playoffs last year was ridiculous. So, and it's funny. I think McDavid losing has motivated him even more. And he really wants him off to a good start. And so unless he misses any significant amount of games, 8-10 games, I think he's 140 plus almost guaranteed, which is crazy to say. He's just that good right now.
I just feel like as he's matured and his eye is on the prize more and more every year, I just feel like the third period in a 5-1 game where they used to go out and get a bunch of points, I feel like that period is not so important to him anymore. You know, I feel like he used to want to play and want to rack them up, and I feel like now he says, "No, I'm okay. I know it's important, and it's not the third period of a blowout in December, but maybe that's just me. Let's see what happens."
Spec, we'll see you at the rink, my man. Have a good one.
Oh, looking forward to it, Jay.
There you go. That's Mark Spector in the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll come back. We'll hear more from Chris Noeblock, Connor Brown, as the Oilers get set to take on the Winnipeg Jets. And read a lot of our texts. So we're coming to you live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street. You have about an hour and 40 minutes to get down here. No rush, but if you want to go to the game, you can win a pair of tickets to the home opener tonight, Jasper Ave and 118th Street at On the Rocks.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Ain't it beautiful?
What does excellence mean to you, and how does it impact your decisions? Friends, it's Carrie Dahl, and I know that at Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't an option, it's their everything. From customer satisfaction in sales, service, inventory, and retention, they excel in all. Congratulations, Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners.
Volvo of Edmonton.
At Toyota, we believe your vehicle is more than just a ride. It's family. So make sure it's prepared for whatever Mother Nature has in store. Because winter's a lot like some people's in-laws. It's cold, shows up unexpectedly, and refuses to leave. Trust the experts at Toyota for premium winter tires, batteries, brakes, and more. Beat the winter rush. Book an appointment at shoptoyota.ca or contact your local Toyota dealer today.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
New Jizz Nuggets. This is New Jizz Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of heating and cooling advice does Nuge have today?
You can save a lot of money by bundling your new furnace and AC with Legacy. It's kind of like saving money on an endorsement by bundling me, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, with someone like, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Thanks for suggesting me, Nuge. Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC and furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of New Jizz Nuggets.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
427, welcome back. Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Of course, use the promo code Gregor50 to get a free $50 play. Also, it is Wednesday night, and that means Lotto 649. The Matthew Garand, Claude Lemieux lottery, 32 million. Nobody won Max Mill. So guess what? 60 million. Is somebody going to win 60 million on Friday? Is somebody going to score 60 goals? Well, Connor McDavid scores 60 goals for the second time in his career. He doesn't have, and you saw it in the documentary. He'd been dealing with and I'd said it last year, he had like an oblique core issue, and I think that impacted his shot. 2 years ago, he scored 64. Last year, he scored 32. Well, if you just cut it in half, it's 48. I think I will not be surprised if young 97 scores 50 goals for the second time in his career this season. Also, did you know Connor McDavid in season opening games already has 2 hat tricks in 9 season opening games? Not bad. Got a hat trick against the Calgary Flames and also had a hat trick against the Vancouver Canucks in 21-22. Could he go for a third in 10 years? Think about that. It'd be 30% of his season opening games had a hat trick. I can't rule it out. It's McDavid. Can you? He's pretty good. Same with Austin Matthews. He's had 2 as well. They're the only active players, of course, with 2 hat tricks in opening night games. Leon Draisaitl, by the way, currently tied. It's a franchise high. He has points in 8 consecutive season openers. It's tied with Philip Forsberg and Morgan Riley, who each have 8. And Kyle Connor for the Jets, if you're thinking of point totals, Kyle Connor of the Jets has scored a goal in 6 consecutive season opening games. That's an NHL. He's tied for the NHL record with doing that one with guys, of course, Yvon Cournoyer did it. Also, Cam Atkinson did it. And one of the great names in the NHL folklore, Mud Brunto from 1940 to 1945 also did it. So Kyle Connor scores tonight. He will set a record for 7 consecutive goals in season opening games. Not bad. I like it. 5:30. Lots more text flying in. Hey, guys, ever thought other GMs in the league might just be out to screw Bowman anyway? From Rob. Rob, well, here's my question, Rob. Why? Like, are the Oilers the first team in history to put a player on waivers and all the GMs like, ha, we're going to screw him? Like, how many times have we seen a team? It happened last year to LA. Fagemo, he scored 43 goals in 50 AHL games, right? He got put on waivers. Nashville claimed him, but he actually played for them 4 games. Then they put him back on waivers. No one else is like, haha, Kings, we're going to get you. I know we're in a time where people like to believe idiotic conspiracy theories. Let's try to avoid it in the sports world, please. Just tell me how are they really screwing the Oilers? By Lavoie is on the roster for a day? Like, honestly, if you think it's screwing them, because if they don't really want him, then the Oilers can just put him back on waivers because they're like, oh, they don't really want him. They put him on waivers. You don't claim him. So what did you do? You screwed over Edmonton by 1 day of cap hit. That's all you did, right? I don't know. Like, the theory just doesn't make any sense to me. Right? No sense. And what if Edmonton wouldn't have claimed him? Now the guy's on your roster. Now you got to keep him, or then you got to put him on waivers the next day. And you're like, why do we do that? Like, I don't know. It's just, when I take a step back and rationalize, I don't see teams like an offer sheet is, these are things that are within the rules. An offer sheet is there because if it makes sense for your franchise, you do it. And if it hurts the other team, well, who cares? But you're doing it because it benefits you. I believe one of these 8 teams felt like Lavoie would give them some organizational depth on their NHL roster. Colorado makes the most sense to me. Go look at, I outlined their wingers in case you missed it. Here's the Colorado Avalanche wingers right now. If you want to talk about a team that is banged up due to injury. So first of all, Landeskog is out, and we don't know if he'll ever play again. But Nichushkin is out till at least the middle of November, right? That's the earliest he can get reinstatement. Arturi Lehkonen is on long, and he's out for a while, and he's a really good player. So there's 2 of their top 6 wingers gone. So here's their wingers. I'm not including their first line because their first line's pretty decent with that Rantanen guy. He's not bad. Jonathan Drouin, 50-point player, no problem. So you have 2 wingers in Logan O'Connor, Miles Wood, solid guys. Take them all day long. Those are good third-line wingers. On their second line right now, you have Callum Ritchie, who is a 19-year-old player who's eligible to go back to junior. He's 19 years of age. There's not many teenagers in the NHL. Right now, he could stick, yes, but he's eligible to go back down if they wanted to. Then you throw in Kovalenko. Yes, indeed, the son of former Edmonton Oiler, Andrei Kovalenko. Now, he comes over from the KHL, but he's never played a game in the NHL. And he's a smaller forward, 5'10". Then they've also got Ivan. I'm not making that up. That's his name. It's unbelievable. It's one of the greatest names. I remember being at the draft, and he was there. And so he's played. He is 22 years of age. He's 5'11", $170. And he scored 12 goals, 31 points in 67 AHL games last year. You think he's better than Rafael Lavoie? That guy's on their lineup right now because they have nobody else. Of course it's got to be Colorado. Why wouldn't it be? They're not doing it to screw over Edmonton, and they're doing it because their roster is not very good. They don't have much depth. I'll be curious, like, how many minutes is Rantanen and McKinnon going to play right now? Oh, it's going to be a lot. So, yeah, that's why I don't think it's to screw the Oilers. It's because Colorado's kind of in a screwed position because of injuries and suspensions and everything else. And that's why I said they were the biggest wild card at the start of the year, because they could be decent or not very good. So there you go. That's I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. Now, I looked at other teams. Gregor, do you think it'd be anybody else? Well, like, I looked at Boston. I don't think so. I know people like, the Canucks, they hate the Oilers, but the Canucks got really good forwards. They don't need Rafael Lavoie, right? And they only have one spot on the roster. These other teams, like, it's not like Edmonton's the only team that's looking to, go with a 22-man roster, right? There's actually, it's 22-man rosters become just as normal as a 23-man roster for lots of teams. So, and the other thing is, Colorado could have had a claim in on the first time with Rafael Lavoie and probably Cole Schmidt, but Vegas is below them in the standings. Couldn't get them, but we won't know it because the NHL doesn't release it. I've talked to capologists. Here's how it works on the waivers. So let's say, you put in a claim or whatever, and they'll say, okay, there was multiple claims. That's all you're told. So for the Oilers, they get a message, hey, you're the first claim in on Lavoie, but there's been another claim, or there's been multiples. That's what they'll get. They will tell if it's one or two. That I do know that. So if it's one, they'll say one. If it's multiple, they'll say multiple. but they don't tell you who. Now, Stan Bowman can pick up the phone and call all 8 GMs because maybe he can facilitate a trade if he wants. Because Colorado, look at their lineup. They might be desperate to make a trade. Now, maybe Edmonton's like, no, we got him back. But originally, they were willing to lose him because they wanted to accrue cap space. So, there you go. Hey, guys, I have to admit, it's looking bleak for my Avs. McKinnon's going to have to repeat his MVP season for them to have a real chance from Titan. Well, I still think they can be a playoff team because they're high-end talent. But until they get some depth, it's going to be hard for them to go deep in the playoffs for sure. I would agree with that. Like, you just look at the depth of those guys that I just outlined. That is a quarter of their forward roster. 0 NHL experience. One guy's 19, one guy's 22, the other guy's 24. And the 2 guys that are in their 20s, like one guy's played 1 year in the American League and scored 12 goals in 67 games, wasn't even a half a point a player in the AHL. How many of those guys are you like, whoa? Like our Oiler fans, I'll give you a comparison just in case you're wondering. So you'd say, well, geez, it would be like Bourgault. Do you think Bourgault would be, hey, let's put Bourgault on a team right now? He's going to help us. Xavier Go last year was even worse. But 2 years ago when he had 13 goals and 34 points, this guy had 13 and 31 in more games. And he's now on the roster because they have no one else. It's not a good situation. Let's get to the lineup report brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, home of the $50 bi-weekly ATV. And think about it now. Be on a boat next summer for as low as $105 bi-weekly right now at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. The Oilers lineup, McDavid will start with Hyman and Nugent Hopkins. Leon Draisaitl with Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson, as Skinner and Arvidsson make their Oilers debut tonight. You'll have Adam Henrique with Janmark and Brown, same line as last year in the postseason. Podkolzin makes his debut with Derek Ryan and Corey Perry. On the back end, Ekholm and Bouchard. Nurse with Edmund Emberson. He'll make his first game as an Oiler. Also, Travis Dermott. He's coming in tonight. He'll play with Kulak, and Stu Skinner gets the start for the Edmonton Oilers. The Winnipeg Jets will counter with the exact same 12 forwards that started the regular season last year. Scheifele with Connor and Velarde. Nemestikov with Ehlers and Perfetti. Lowry with Appleton and Niederreiter. And Kupari with Iafallo and Barron. Back end, Morrissey and DeMello, really solid pair. Sandberg and Pionk. And then their 2 new defensemen, Fleury and Miller. Hillebuck will get the start and goal. Winnipeg, if you recall, led the NHL with tied with Florida for fewest goals allowed in the NHL last season. Pretty good till the playoffs came. And then think about, this is true. They had a 2.41 goals against average in the regular season. For 82 games, 2.41. That's really good. You get to the playoffs, and it was 5.6. Like more than double the amount of goals they allowed in that series against the Colorado Avalanche. They didn't just lose, they got waxed. It was, and that's been 2 consecutive playoff years where Hellebuyck has had a sub 900 by a significant margin. So what are the Jets? The Jets are a team that they're a little bit like Toronto. Good regular season. The last few years in the postseason, not so much. Now, the difference is the Jets did go to the conference final once. Toronto obviously has never done that. So the lineup, though, for the Jets, don't sleep on them. It's a really deep lineup. And, the matchups tonight, they like to get Lowry on McDavid. And Chris, it's McDavid. I'm not afraid to play him against anybody. So it'll probably be Lowry and Scheifele against the McDavid line, which means you'll probably get Leon Draisaitl up against Nemestikov. And I think that's a lot. That's a matchup you'll take all day as much as you can. So if I'm Noeblock, I'll say, okay, if you want Lowry and Scheifele splitting against McDavid, great. Well, then they're going to split the other time against the Henrique line. And I'll take Nemestikov against Draisaitl all day long if I'm the Edmonton Oilers. That's a matchup I feel that you can win with Leon Draisaitl. Not to mention Arvidsson and Skinner. But Nemestikov's a good player. He ain't Draisaitl, not even close. So, that Pionk likes to kind of get under the skin of McDavid, goes at him head-to-head, so that's always a good matchup. A little spirited. Because the thing about McDavid is, David is not a shrinking violet. He's not a perimeter player. You hit him, he'll hit back. And that to me is what makes him even better of a superstar. He doesn't back down to anybody. That's why he scored 130 points 2 years in a row and probably could do it for a third time. Gregor, couldn't have been any team. I thought the team that lost him in the original claim gets first crack at claving him back. Jeff, that's been a myth that's been repeated many times. It's not true. The only advantage you have of being the team when the player you put on waivers gets put back on waivers is it's the exact same waiver period. Everything's the same rule. The guy goes back on waivers just like anything. The only difference is if you put in a claim and no one else does, then you can send him to the minors. Because basically you said, this guy's gone through the league once, this team claimed him. Now he went a second time, no one else claimed him. No one's holding him back from beating the NHL. You can put him in the minors. That's basically how the ruling of the world, the rule goes. So it's no one gets first dibs. You only get the benefit if you reclaim him of putting him straight in the minors. So there's no first dibs. It's a team above the Oilers in the standings who had to have claimed him. Because if it was a lower one, then the Edmonton wouldn't have got him. That would have went to the lower team first. So there you go. 5:42. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. We'll return live at OTR, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street. Come on down before 7 o'clock. Get in the draw. You can win some tickets. You can win some swag from Sports 1440, and also free wings during the game tonight. And great specials, 525 pints here at On the Rocks.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores will be closed on Friday to lower prices and then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals in every department. Get 30% off furniture and free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, get 40% off mattresses and buy any TV or appliance to get a $50 credit for furniture, home decor, and mattresses. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
At Toyota, we believe your vehicle is more than just a ride. It's family. So make sure it's prepared for whatever Mother Nature has in store. Because winter's a lot like some people's in-laws. It's cold, shows up unexpectedly, and refuses to leave. Trust the experts at Toyota for premium winter tires, batteries, brakes, and more. Beat the winter rush. Book an appointment at shoptoyota.ca or contact your local Toyota dealer today.
At the end of the day, I don't just feel like I worked hard. I can see my hard work with my own eyes. At the end of the day, I come home to my own place. At the end of the day, I know I'm making a difference in my community. At the end of the day, I grab a bite with my coworkers, or as I like to call them, my friends. At the end of the day, I wouldn't trade a career in the trades for anything.
Get more with a career in the trades. Explore careers at alberta.ca/trades. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Diablo Boots in Canada West. 2 great names in working cowboy boots. For over 60 years, Diablo has been selling the best-made Canadian boots. Diablo has boots from sizes 6E to size 15 EE, just for you. Why buy boots made in China like Ariat, Justin, or Red Wing, when Diablo has the best quality for less, made in Canada? Diablo has working cowboy boots with replaceable soles and heels for longer life. So, save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard, on the east side of Save On Foods. Hurry in today for best selection.
New Jizz Nuggets. This is New Jizz Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of heating and cooling advice does Nuge have today?
You can save a lot of money by bundling your new furnace and AC with Legacy. It's kind of like saving money on an endorsement by bundling me, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, with someone like, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Thanks for suggesting me, Nuge. Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC and furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of New Jizz Nuggets.
You don't get them girls loose. You don't get the world loose. You don't get money.
It's the worldwide.
But I do. Them girls loose. You in different world, loose. You ain't get money, but I do.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance sale is on now at GMC. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Four, 5:45. We get set to wrap things up. Busy Wednesday afternoon. Of course, lots of early NHL games. There's even more tomorrow on Thursday. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays are the busy nights in the National Hockey League. If you are a big fan of watching it, that's why they've that Thursday night. There's 9 games. Some nights there's 10, 11, 12. And for those of you who watch Red Zone for the NFL, the NHL is unveiling one of their own channels like that. You can watch on Amazon Prime. And it's basically going to be a highlight show that just goes around and shows you all the highlights in real time of what's happening around the league on a busy time. So there you have it. Cole Caulfield has opened up the scoring. By the way, if you're looking for a breakout player this year, Slavkovsky is my prediction for the Montreal Canadiens. I think the big man is going to have a really, really good season. The New York Rangers on the road in Pittsburgh. Sam Carrick, former Edmonton Oilers, opens up the scoring. Can't believe the Oilers let him go. What the hell were they thinking? I'm being facetious, okay? I'm being a anonymous person on Twitter right now. What a bunch of idiots. I can't believe they let Sam Carrick go. So, no. Really nice guy. I really like Sam talking to him. So, good for him. Get on the board to the new team. Trust me, that's like a dream for any player. Tell you right now, Arvidsson and Skinner, they don't put extra pressure on themselves, but they would love to score early in their tenure for the Edmonton Oilers. Connor Brown talked about it, man. Like, it was brutal last year for him. You know, it's like, and even though he's banged up, it's still worst case scenario. You want your teammates to rely on you and trust you and everything. And not that they don't, but when you score, it's just, all right, this guy's here. He's going to score for some goals for us. And just because you score in the first game, you could still then go on a 10-game goal drought. I understand it, but just mentally you feel a little bit better for sure. 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, why do we overvalue players? Not even San Jose wanted them from Jordan. Yeah, but Vegas did. And a top 8 team in the league last year did. Why does it? San Jose probably has a lot of guys. And if you actually look at their roster, they have a lot of forwards. Right? I know. Who's overvaluing Lavoie? I don't think anybody in the conversation today has said Rafael Lavoie is a can't-miss prospect. All it is he might be an NHL player. You don't know. You haven't seen him. I haven't seen him play in the NHL. He's played 7 games. It's not enough. I have no idea. He might be. He might be. Do I think he's going to be a big-time producer? Probably not. But there's been a few surprises out there, too. Go look at, hey, did you see the contract Carter Verhaeghe got today? Or I guess technically last night. Huge money. $7 million a year for Verhaeghe. Now, remember, do you know when Carter Verhaeghe made the NHL? 7 years after he was drafted. 7. And you know what he did? He cleared waivers. Got picked up on waivers. It happens. Now, I'm not saying Rafael Lavoie is going to do it, but you can't say that, people overvalue. I don't know if anybody's overvalued him. Losing a prospects for nothing when you don't have a lot of prospects is not a great scenario. That's it. Full stop. It's not overvaluing the player. I think it's having a realistic, sane take on the organization. What if 2 right wingers get hurt tonight? Who would you have called up if Rafael Lavoie is, we don't need him? Who are you going to call up? Matt Savoy? Okay. So Matt Savoy, a 20-year-old, not close to having all his man strength yet. And you're going to throw him in to say, hey, man, now we need you to produce. It's probably a big ask. Who else are you going to call up? Drake Kajula? Okay. Lane Peterson? Noah Philp? Sure. But how good are those guys? You don't know. So I don't think it's overrating a player. It's just looking at the scenario for Edmonton and saying, in an ideal world, they don't want to be in a position of losing prospects for nothing. That's all. Full stop. Nothing more. Hey, Gregs, what's the promo code for Play Alberta? It is Gregor 50. 50. All right. Good luck. PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, guys, I can't wait for this regular season. Last year, all it did was reinvigorate my fandom. Funny enough, I'm more into it, but I'm calmer. Wonder if other fans feel the same way. From Douglas. Send that in our Gregor at sports1440.ca email. It's a good question. I've talked to a lot of fans. They're quite confident that their team is good. And I think most realize that the roster you see tonight is not going to be the roster that you're going to go into battle with when the playoffs begin. I would look at the Oilers roster and say out of the 12 forwards, I'm going to say 2 of them won't be regulars in the playoffs. And on defense, 1 for sure. They'll upgrade the right side. And maybe Emerson bumps down to the 3rd pair, no problem. But I don't believe that Dermott will be playing in the playoffs. I don't think Stetcher will be playing regularly in the playoffs either. So they'll make some moves. Probably now, one of them could come internally. You know, Noah Philp, if he plays as well in the American League as he did in preseason training camp, he'll be called up soon. So we got wall-to-wall coverage here today on Sports 1440. Be sure to stick around. Andrew Walker, regular season debut, the pre- and post-game show here on Sports 1440 alongside Donovan Paulson. That is coming up right at the conclusion of our show, so don't change the dial wherever you're going. Enjoy the games tonight. Come down on the Rocks, Jasper Ave 118th. You got an hour to get down here, get your name in the draw, and you could be going to the game tonight and get some swag from Sports 1440 and more. On behalf of Declan Cougar on site, here Connor Halley back at Sports 1440 Ewell Studios. I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves an awesome night. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire, where making the seasonal changeover hassle-free. They offer convenient tire storage. When you switch your winter tires, you can just leave your tires there. They'll store them safely. Find a location near you, fountaintire.com. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We're out.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. The Edmonton Oilers are set to kick off their 2024-25 season, hosting the Winnipeg Jets. Puck drop around 8:15 in this one. Coming up next, we've got pre-game coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. That's going to run from 6 till 8. Crazy day for Rafael Lavoie, as he was claimed by the Oilers. He was, of course, waived by the team on Monday, claimed by Vegas, then released by Vegas, now back in blue and orange. On the ice right now, Montreal leading the Maple Leafs 1-0. About 2 minutes remaining in the first period. Cole Caulfield wearing number 13 for the late great Johnny Gaudreau, scoring the first goal of the season out in Pittsburgh. The Rangers on top of the Penguins 1-0. Former Oilers Sam Carrick with the lone goal. That one is midway through the first. Later tonight, Canucks taking on the Flames and the Avs in Sin City, taking on the Golden Knights. Major League Baseball playoffs are rolling on right now. The Mets lead the Phillies 4-1 with runners on the corners. That's also lead that series 2-1. And out in KC, Yankees Royals are scoreless. Earlier today, the Tigers knocked off the Guardians 3-0 to take a 2-1 series lead. Some good news for local products. Eric Sabrowski, he went 1 1/3, striking out 2, allowing no runs. Later tonight, you got the Padres taking on the Dodgers in San Diego. Padres can wrap this one up with a win, and the NBA's preseason underway. Knicks right now lead the Wizards 16-9 the first quarter. Later tonight, the Rockets are in OKC. Spurs host the Magic, and the Warriors taking on the Kings. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, as I said, pre-game coverage. 2 full hours. Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson have you covered. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440.